Hello, everybody. Hello,
Hello.
Mo. Hello, Shamita.
Hello. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Molson Man. Hi, Max 2002. Hi, Team Psych Ward. Hi, True Psych Ward. Hi, Amelia Sparks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing on this Friday?
I'm
Everybody doing
good.
good? You want to come up here, True Psych Ward? You can. You know where the link is, babe.
We lost Teresa right before we hit live.
I know. She'll be back. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Salty C. Hey, Allie79. Thank you, guys. There she is.
I went to share the link and got kicked out.
We heard you. Ah, fudge.
Did you? I'm like, son of
Oh, well.
why are you messing with this?
Huh?
Well, don't play with it. It's not yours.
Hey, Crackling Rosie True Crime. Thanks, you guys, for
Ours.
coming back. It was a quick turnaround. I'm sorry about that. I meant and had full intentions of premiering that video last night. Hey, Dan Cave. But I ran into some technical issues in that the thing I used to make the videos was downloading incredibly slow, and I just got annoyed and I had to walk away, or otherwise it was just going to be bad. So I did finish it up this morning. So thank you guys for all coming back. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry you have a headache, Team Psych Ward. Is it because you raved? It's a marathon, babe. I should have told you, not a sprint. Too much raving. Got to slow down. I hope you feel better though, babe. So tonight we're gonna do Terry Stainer. This is Amy Mullen's friend, and apparently there's going to be some text messages. Yes, Mo?
Yes, and I hope it works. I tried a new way of recording and downloading, so hopefully everything goes okay.
That's the link you sent me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Just the one.
Yes.
Okay, then we should be good. Who dis? Let me see. It's Teresa. There's two Teresas. Which Teresa do I remove? I'll remove this one. I'm not going to kick her, though. Can you hear us, Teresa? Is everything okay?
Uh-oh.
Maybe
that was the wrong one.
Just leave them both up there and we'll sort it out later. Well, this way we can. I'll just go ahead and play the opener, and that way whatever needs to be worked out gets worked out. Okay, here we go. Well, all right. Hey, Callie. Hey, Dave G. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are we all squared away? What you got down here, Shmita? What is this?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, lady.
I was wondering how this was gonna go.
Mo and I
I
even said
told
this
you.
earlier. We're like, I can't put it in yet, or she's gonna ask me what the hell do I have.
I said she's gonna say, "What is this?"
Hello, Rochelle. Sean, how are you? Of course I'm going to ask. Hello. You guys all know how I roll?
All right, go.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to put it up? Okay, so surprise.
Okay. I'm very excited.
Let me see. I had to switch up the music a little bit, so it's not. Oh, Jesus, it's not great, but
I'm sure it's going to be fabulous, and I can hardly wait.
okay, perfect.
Aw. Oh, I love it. And I love the music. Oh, Shamita. Thank you, Momo.
Well, yeah.
Love you too. Y'all are gonna get me right in my cold dead heart. What's wrong with y'all? Oh. Mo.
All right, you tell me whenever
Mo.
you're done this, and I'll hit play again.
Okay, I'm good. Oh. Oh, besos. Sandra. Oh, Deja. You guys. Oh, thank you, Max 2002. The banks.
The bank.
I love it. Oh my God. You guys just went all the way around the YouTube streets for me. Thank you guys so much.
We love you.
I love you guys too. Oh, thank you, Molson Man. That's so sweet. Oh, I know who this is from. This is from Luke. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love all the Star Wars. Thank you, Dave G.
Happy birthday, Mom. I love you so much.
Oh,
let's
look at
eat
Alice. Aw. I know you. Thank you, Mo.
Chazzle Candles, a birthday poem for Jen Lou. It was a spark at first, a glow we couldn't see. It flickered in the window. It flickered on that iPad tree. Your subs gathered round, all snug in our forts. We couldn't wait to hear Jen's speech on those torts. We've all grown to love you. Now it's time to raise a glass. These streets wouldn't be the same without that Jen Lou sass. Happy birthday, Jen Lou. XOXOXO, Allie79.
Oh, thank you. I love it.
Happy birthday to
Sam.
you. Happy birthday to you. Lonnie chases squirrels and you chase cats too.
Greetings, Jen. This is Amelia. Happy birthday.
Oh my
I hope that it
God.
is just as beautiful as you are and that you smile just as much as you make all of us smile. Have a
Oh
great
my
day.
gosh. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you,
Cluck, cluck,
Rochelle.
chicken lady here. Hen Lou here, wanting to wish Jen Lou a very happy birthday. As we can see, she is very not happy at the moment. Don't you do it.
Hen
She is
Lou's
an eye
always
pecker.
giving her trouble.
You're an eye pecker.
Oh, that chicken's just like
We
you.
wanted
Yeah,
to make sure that we
always.
got Miss Hen Lou on camera, even though she's an eye pecker. To wish Jen Lou a very happy birthday.
Aww.
Don't worry, as long as you don't peck me in the eye, you will get a treat.
Hen Lou doesn't
Yeah.
have no
We
F.
have to promote good behavior with treats with Hen Lou. Otherwise, well, let's face it, even with the treats, she doesn't behave. Okay. Cluck, cluck, happy birthday, Jen Lou.
Oh my goodness. Wrist her eye getting
Happy
taken
birthday,
out. Thank you,
Jen. I want you to
Allie.
know that you're an awesome
No.
mother, friend, wife. You're such a great person, and I'm so lucky to have you in my life. I love you, and I hope you have a great day.
Oh my gosh, you
Aw,
guys. I
Jen
love
Lou,
you.
it's your birthday. So I was going to sing you a song, but I decided that would not be a very nice present. So instead I wrote you a poem. So, blood is red, but it started out blue. No one else cares except for Jen Lou. I know, it's very original. But I
love
am
it.
so happy to have the opportunity to be able to call you my friend. And I wish you nothing but the bestest birthday in the whole wide world. You deserve it.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank
Happy
you so
birthday,
much.
peasant. Welcome to the ward. Happy birthday to you. Are you normal? Happy birthday to you. Why you sing happy birthday? Happy birthday, dear Jen Lou. Happy birthday to
Oh my god, you guys made me cry a little bit, you assholes.
Yo, what's up, shorty? What's up? I just want to say happy birthday. This is from the book, all right? Just keeping it real. Yeah. See you in hell, baby girl.
Chicken lady, I told you, I don't do personal messages. I don't do personal messages.
Oh, hey,
Things to do.
G.
All right. Hello. My name's the Armchair Detective, and I'm here to say happy birthday to Jen, or Jan Lou, a friend of mine from across the pond, who shares a birthday with the world's greatest detective. And why? See, world's greatest detective. Americans won't get that. They say, what a bigot. No, it's a joke. It's irony. It's satire. And this is what I'm trying to get across to my friends in America. Jen Lou understands me. Dr. B laughs her head off at me. Why can't I get the rest of the population to understand me? I don't know. But anyway, she's been a good friend of Dr. B. Dr. B is my mate, and I know that Jen has been there for her through trials and tribulations over the past few years. And I thank you, Jen, for that. But what I remember you most for is that you can't buy friendship. Friendship hasn't got a price, unless it's a very high one, or a highfalutin one, or one that's not even real. A bit like this. I think. I thought you invented this.
Keanu Reeves, you look rather pleased. Let's see what you wrote down. Nothing. The question was right, anything, and you got it wrong. I'm speechless. Let's see what you wagered. $11 billion. That's not even a real number. Yet.
So the government can say, we're going to spend $11 billion on something and we just haven't told you about it yet. But it is a very restrained amount by comparison. We're going to spend $11 billion.
You see, what happened was, Saturday Night Live, they started it, and it went into pop culture, like some words do. $11 billion became even the government saying it. $11 billion. It's not even a real number.
spend $11 billion. We're going to
Oh, can you?
$11 billion. We're going to spend $11 billion.
You can't spend $11 billion. Now, you plagiarised that, Jen. I thought it was you. I put that down to you. It's not yours. You plagiarised it on Saturday Night Live. But I forgive you. Like we forgive you many things. So anyway, I hope you have a great birthday. I really do. I wrote down some notes because I can't do it else. Yeah. So, if I can't give you a present, I can give you this. I don't know what you would do with it. One of these at your age. What would you do with them?
It's going in my office,
You probably had a lot of use back then. All that's left is this empty shell. And all this empty shell, because it would say happy birthday. We think a lot of you here on the Armchair Detective channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
You do cheer us up, because I get told off for laughing about murder programs. I'm doing a murder show and I laugh, right? Well, I often wonder about documentaries. Like you see the news and they go, I'm sorry to hear that there was a murder today when a man gunned down 70 billion people in a shotgun drive-by, right? And then a minute later, the newsreader says, and now we got today's draw. You can win a cuddly teddy bear or a model of the Queen for just $1. And they switch from 11 billion murders to buy a ticket. So I can do the same. I'm an anchor man. We can do that, right? And in fact, I've found the funniest people in the world are nurses, doctors, funeral directors, police, morticians, coroners, because they know you have to laugh or you cry, right?
Amen.
I'll just tell you a story about Meatloaf. Meatloaf died this week, didn't he?
Yeah.
Meatloaf, he's very much into Native Americans, right? He loves he did a concert on a reservation. Can I say reservation?
Yes.
I don't know if I can say it. I'm too old to be politically correct. Anyway, he did this concert. I will do anything for love, but I won't do that. Well, what's that? I never worked it out what he wouldn't do. Maybe it's something to do with Nicole Kessinger. He wouldn't do that stuff. I don't know. But he won't do that. Anyway, so the chief come in. Can I say chief? He come into the changing room, and Meatloaf said, "I never let anybody into the dressing room, but because he's a Native American chief, I had to let him in." And I asked him 11 billion questions. I'm paraphrasing. He asked him many questions, and after half an hour, the chief stopped it. He stopped it. He said, "Can I stop there? Can I say something?" And Meatloaf said, "Yeah, anything you want, chief. Anything you want." He said, "I'm going to bestow on you an Indian name that you can take with you forever. And as you know, Indian names relate to your personality. Little River, Big Rock, or whatever, right?" He said, "Thank you, chief." And the chief said, I'm going to call you Never Stop Talking." And he was called from that day to this. Unfortunately, he's passed away, but Never Stop Talking is his Indian name. And I'm going to give you that name, Jan Lu. Your Indian name, I am obviously a chief of the Arapaho tribe, twice removed. I bestow upon you the name Never Stop Talking. Have a great birthday. See you later, alligator. In a wild crocodile.
Oh, AD.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Jim Lou. May the force forever be with you.
Oh, fuck you.
That was great.
Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much. I love it.
You're welcome.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday.
everyone. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for the super chats and joining members. You guys are all so sweet. I appreciate it so much. You assholes made me cry, though. I'm not going to lie. I was like, what is this? My eye is leaking. Oh, God, the other eye is leaking. What is this sorcery?
It's leaking in my eye.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I really, wow, you guys just really made my night. Thank you so much.
Now you see why I wanted you to go earlier?
Yes, I did it. Do a task. You guys did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm a little verklempt right now, but should we just get into the corn raking? we're about to hear Amy Mullis's buddy.
I don't even know
Derek
what we're
Gainer.
listening to anymore.
I don't need
Yes, great friends.
Oh my gosh.
That
You
should
guys,
tell you right there you have a lot better friends than Amy.
yes, I do. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Let me make my screen get shared. I was like all business, and then I just wasn't prepared.
Sorry.
You guys are no, babe. You did so good. I just, I'm never at a loss for words, and I sure don't have eye leakage, but today I did. Oh,
That's awesome. I was kind of hoping for eye leakage, so.
you got it. Thank you, Mia Moore, Michelle. Thank you all so much. Okay, are we ready? All right, here we go.
Unmute it.
Oh yeah. Good catch, Mo. Thanks, ma'am.
Ma'am, could you please tell us how old you are?
I can point.
56. And what area do you currently live in?
I live near Irville.
What area did you grow up in?
I grew up over by
Molson,
Marshalltown.
man. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Did you graduate from high school?
Yes,
Where did you graduate from?
Gladbrook.
And did you receive any additional schooling after that?
I went for a year for dental assisting, and I did that for a few years until I had children. And then later on, I went back to EMT and paramedic.
And what is your current occupation?
I am a critical care flight paramedic for a air ambulance service. I also work PRN at the hospital in Marshalltown as a paramedic, and I do
Oh
their
my gosh, you
emergency
guys, thank you
preparedness
so much.
coordination.
Did you know Amy Mullis?
Yes.
How did you know Amy?
I met Amy in approximately 2006.
Thank you, Dan Cave.
And we met there.
And in what capacity was
Welcome,
Amy working at
Salty
Manchester Hospital?
C.
Amy was a nurse.
What was the nature of your relationship when you first met Amy?
Thank you, Rochelle.
When I first met Amy, I was working as a
Thank you,
EMT
Ali,
unit
79.
secretary.
None of this
And
testimony.
would it be fair to say you became friends?
We became very
Thank
good
you,
friends.
Momo.
And when you say, what kind of things would you do together?
We did a lot together. We went out for lunch a lot. We, at one point, rented a houseboat for a week with several friends, and Amy was along, and we're up there and spent time together as friends and just socialized.
Is there anything that you and Amy would do on a regular basis or semi-regular basis?
We were golf partners for a couple of years, and we did golf a lot together. We did a lot of lunches together.
What kind of things did Amy like to do?
Amy liked to golf. Amy, she was a great nurse. She liked to take care of people. She enjoyed farming. She liked to hunt and fish. And I think probably the thing she liked most was being a mom.
And why do you say that?
Because her kids came first. You know, if I wanted to do something or had something planned, and if there was something going on with their children, that came first. She loved coaching their ball games. She loved being a mom.
Now, sometime after you met Amy, did you leave Regional Medical Center in Manchester?
I did. I left within that first year, and we did remain very close friends after that.
Where were you working then when you left there?
This is a friend of Amy's, Molson man. But Todd messages her too. Imagine that.
I went down to Iowa City for about 6 months on a transport service with fixed wing air. And then I went to St. Luke's in their ER and then on their flight team.
And then at some point, did you start working again at Manchester Hospital?
I didn't start that again until probably 3 years ago. Amy and I were both on the Irville volunteer ambulance together. So we spent a lot of time with the fire department, doing things with the fire department, fundraisers and things like that.
Do you know how long Amy worked at Manchester Hospital?
Amy worked there until, I'm thinking, approximately 5 or 6 years ago.
And do you know why she left?
She left because
Hey, Mia.
kind of a deal she made with her husband after she had her first affair, that she needed to be home and not be in that environment with a lot of other people.
Now, let me just go back 1 second. You said something about you doing some work with the fire department with Amy as well.
Right.
And what did Amy do with regards to the fire department?
She was nurse exempt, so we were on the ambulance together. We really didn't do anything on the fire side. It was just the EMS side.
So what are some of the things or duties that you have when you would be working in that capacity?
We carry pagers, and if there's a call, if you're available, you go and respond to the call.
Now, throughout your friendship with Amy, let me go back. Do you know Todd Mullis?
Yes.
How did you meet Todd?
I met Todd through Amy.
And what was your relationship like with Todd?
My relationship was fine with Todd. I didn't see Todd a lot because Todd didn't do a lot of social things. I did see him occasionally, and I think our relationship was fine.
When you would see Todd, where would you generally see him?
He came to a few of the fire department functions, and if I would
Yes,
stop at their
Molson,
house,
too.
you know,
Mhm.
sometimes I stopped there to get eggs or
That we
drop
know
off
of.
something with the kids.
Right, that we
or
know of,
do
and also
lawn or
correct,
something like
Ally
that, and I
79.
would see Todd there.
Would it be fair to say that you were also friendly with Todd?
Yes.
And did Todd work a lot on the farm?
Todd worked all the time. He was very passionate about farming.
Now, at some point in your friendship with Amy, did she start confiding in you about her relationship?
Her relationship with
Todd.
With Todd, yes.
And you already said something about this, but approximately 5 years ago, did Amy tell you any information that related to her relationship with Todd?
Yes.
And what did Amy tell you?
I'll be right back.
I just
Okay, babe.
remember we were golfing, and she told me that she had begun an affair with someone that would come up to the hospital quite often.
Now, after you learned that information, did you have any role with regards to
Hey,
Amy and
faraway
Todd's
eyes.
I did.
And what was your role?
I spent a lot of time talking with both of them, you know, with Amy and with Todd, as far as what they were going to decide to do. I talked to one of our social workers at our hospital for advice for good counseling for them to go to if they wanted to make their marriage work. And so they did start going to counseling in Cedar Rapids. I feel like I had a very good finger on that pulse of how things were going between the two of them. And
how was it that you even became involved in that?
I think, if I remember correctly, it was Todd reaching out to me.
And how would you communicate with Todd?
Mostly through text.
At times throughout the years, would you sometimes also have conversations or phone conversations
Yes.
with him? And how would you communicate with Amy?
Amy I saw quite often.
Would you and Amy also at times communicate by text messages and phone? Now, what, if any, observations did you make about their relationship after you talked to them about it and they were in counseling?
I thought, you know, maybe things would be able to work out for them. It took Todd a very long time. I don't think he ever really trusted Amy again. That was very hard for her. A lot of times when we were together, she would, you know, say, how long do I have to pay for this mistake? You know, it was very regulated who she could do things with. I was on, it was kind of a joke, the approved friend list that could actually do things with Amy. She was timed when she left home and when she got back. And it was very carefully watched, her activities outside of the farm.
You indicated that you talked to Todd quite a bit as well about this affair 5
Yes.
years ago. What observations or how what did you observe Todd's behavior to be like after finding out about that affair?
He was concerned a lot about the sexual part of it, like if this other person, what she was getting from that person, if there were things were better with him or not. He was very focused on this other gentleman and his family. After they started going through counseling, I kind of thought things would maybe settle down a little bit. And then Amy told me that Todd felt like the other gentleman wasn't punished enough. So he called his wife when she was at work, and she's a nurse in a care center, and told her about the affair when she was at work.
Now, I'd like to direct your attention back to the summer and fall of 2018. During that time, were you also still communicating with Amy and Todd in different ways?
Yes.
And around that time, do you remember having I believe a conversation with Todd where he asked you some questions about Amy?
Yes.
And what was what form of communication was that?
I honestly do not remember if it was a phone conversation or a text message conversation.
But do you remember the information that Todd relayed to you?
Yes.
And what was that information?
He asked me, he said, hey, I noticed Amy's been acting strange again. She's been kind of going off into the bedroom and, spending a lot of time in there alone with her phone. She's kind of showing some of the same behaviors that she had before. And he said, so I looked at our phone bill and I saw just in one day, there were 128 text messages to the same gentleman. And he asked me, do you think this is strange behavior? And I said, yes, I do. I do feel like that is strange behavior, and that he needed to talk to her and ask her, what the behaviors were and what was going on.
Now, Terry, you indicated that part of that message was asking you if you thought Amy was doing things like before.
Yes.
What did you take that to mean?
Having an affair.
At that point, were you
Hey,
aware
pause it for a
whether or not
second.
Amy was having an
No.
affair? At that point, had Amy told you about it?
What do you mean, Molson? From today? I'm lost.
I think he's thinking that that the trial took place today, and it took place in 2019? Yeah, I'm putting that.
Oh, okay.
I was responding.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha.
Also, is it not weird that he is messaging all her friends?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
it's weird. Okay. It's weird. All right. Well, yeah, it's weird, but let me say what's weird. What, in my opinion, is weirder is that they answered.
Exactly. That's why I said in chat, who needs friends like Amy had? Wait till you get to more of it, but you'll see what I mean.
Well, okay. Here we go.
No.
Shortly after that, did you have a conversation with Amy?
Yes.
And do you remember if that was in person or by way of phone?
It started as a text. She sent me a text message and she said, I'm in trouble and I need to talk. Something along that line.
And once you got that message, do you know if you saw her in person or if it was a phone conversation?
It was within a couple days she came over in person.
And was anybody else present for that conversation?
No.
During that conversation, what did Amy indicate to you?
She told me that she had started seeing their field guy that had come to their farm quite often. I didn't exactly understand what his job was or what his role was, and that Todd was very suspicious, had called this gentleman's wife and had confronted him, also asking if there was something going on between the two of them due to the volume of text messages. And she did tell me that she was having an affair with him at that time.
At that time, did Amy indicate to you any intentions about whether or not she was going to stay with Todd or leave Todd?
No, she indicated that she didn't know what was going to happen with this relationship. She said at first it started out as very sexual. He made it very clear that that's all it was about, was just having sex. And then she said, but as they progressed, they became close and it became more than just a sexual relationship.
Did you continue to meet with Amy for lunch or in
Yes.
other ways at this time?
I did.
Did you have any additional conversations with Amy about this affair and her relationship with Todd?
Yes.
And what do you remember in relation to that initial conversation about the affair when these the next conversation took place?
She was, at this time, she was telling me, I'm still not sure what I want to do. You know, maybe I should just stick it out. Maybe I should, you know, be with my family. She didn't know if, where she said this Jerry was in the same boat she was. You know, he had family, he had children at home. And so she still didn't have that relationship kind of figured out. When when she very first told me the very first day that she was having an affair, I was so angry at her because I told her, you know, Amy, you're putting yourself in a really dangerous situation. And I said at that time, he is going to kill you.
And why did you say that?
Because Todd is just the person you don't mess with.
Now, during the same time that you're having these conversations with Amy, are you at times also communicating with Todd?
Yes.
And what, if anything, is Todd saying to you in these conversations?
Todd was saying that Amy at home was very moody. She was crying a lot. She was being mean to the children. He was saying that she seemed depressed. She's upset. But at the same time, he's saying this, when I was with Amy, I did not see that behavior from her. I did not see her upset and crying. And the only thing she was having a difficult time with is she felt like if she chose to continue this relationship, she would lose her son, Tristan.
Okay, I just wanted to stop for just a second. Where's the defense attorney? Is he not present in court today?
He's sleeping.
Oh, is it Mimi time? He gonna night?
It's a siesta time.
Ah, okay, Mimi's night. Okay, lady, love you. Bye-bye. This is highly inflammatory, and here's my problem with it. On the surface, it appears, right, that she's Amy's friend, and that this is actually intended because of the things that she says that she told Amy to make Todd look bad. But it actually makes Amy look bad.
Exactly.
And it's this was a really, really risky move on the prosecution's part. I hope she plays the rest of this very carefully, because you do not want to have an unsympathetic victim.
Exactly.
That makes it very difficult for jurors. So that's all I wanted to say about that. But maybe there's a few things I would have objected over, but I'll let it go because it's a long testimony. Hold on.
And did she indicate to you why she felt that?
She said that the past few months that Tristan and Todd had become very close. Prior to that, Amy and Tristan were actually a very close mother-son. Tristan would come golfing with us. You know, he'd call me Terror Bear, and he spent a lot of time with Mom. He is very soft-hearted, very kind kid. She had told me, you know, all of a sudden Todd is starting to be Mr. Super Dad, which wasn't the case before because he's so involved with the farm. He didn't take time out to go to their activities. And now he was doing things with the children, like taking them on picnics or down to their pond or fishing, which had never happened before. She said that he and Tristan were spending a lot of time together. Tristan was missing a lot of school because Todd was pulling him out to work on the farm. She was upset that Tristan stopped participating in band because his dad told him that that was for pussies. She said Tristan started like emulating his dad, the way he walked, the way he talked. Didn't want to wear underwear because his dad didn't wear underwear. I mean, he just started mimicking his dad, and he and his dad became very, very close in those few months.
Now, Terry, at the same time, did you have additional conversations?
Yes.
That right there, what she said, will come back up later. So it's important about him being a pussy.
Right.
Sorry.
I figured it would. Teresa, were you saying something, sweetie?
I said TMI. TMI.
It is TMI, and hello. He could have objected to the relevance of the underwear story.
I don't understand why it's a red flag that a son.
This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. What, Shamina, what you said?
Sorry, I just think it's like my son is like literally a mini version of my husband.
Right.
Like he wants to be exactly like dad. And I just don't understand why she's portraying it as this big issue that the son, I don't know. And it's a red flag to me too, to say that she was worried that she would lose the son. I don't know.
I mean, they have 2 other kids. If you lose one, you got 2 more. What's the big deal?
Well, I think that people who are parents and have been parents know that your kids go back and forth. That's just kind of how they will function. They'll be closer to mom than closer to dad.
Exactly.
Closer to mom, and that's just kind of how it goes.
Hey, Lana.
I feel like a lot of guilty conscience in Amy, like, oh, I'm going to lose Tristan if he finds out that I'm having another affair, because he already overheard the fact that I was having an affair when he was like 8 years old.
Correct.
So he's like, oh yeah, now he wants to emulate dad. But like now the fact that this kid at 13, 14, almost 15 when the trial happens, is all of his friends, they all know he doesn't wear underwear. Like, come on.
Right.
But this lady has no boundaries. Like, these people don't have boundaries
at all.
Right. And wait till you start seeing the text messages. Allie 79, and you will see that what you said is the truth.
Excuse me. Well, what I was going to say is that I'm speaking as a mother to 2 sons and 2 daughters. And just being a true crime buff in general. A lot of the way that boys grow up to be young men and then finally men, and the way that they treat women is based on their mothers. And so I can sort of see where she would be concerned about Tristan judging her for the affair, because boys, well, from my experience anyway, my boys, I'll never forget one time we were at Walmart and we were at the checking out, and I didn't notice it, but there was a guy working on the ice machine, and both of my boys said to me, Mom, if he doesn't stop staring at your ass, I was like, what are you talking about? He's not looking at me. Yes, he is. And I was like, okay, listen, you guys are right at that critical age, 16, 17, where you can be charged as adults. We need to leave. So we got out of there, but boys are protective of their mothers. And, I can see her concern, but I also don't think that it's a big deal that he wanted to begin to become closer to his son, to his dad. That boys learn how to be men from watching men. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I mean, they do.
I think the other 2, I'm just like, we're all sitting here like, no, none of us have any flipping clue what the hell you're talking about, Jen.
You know what? I'm the only one that's allowed to have the dry, snarky sense of humor. It's just weird. I don't know. I think I just find her testimony so inflammatory. I just can't get past not one objection. All right, well, let's see how this plays
I
out.
think this is just storytelling.
Yeah.
This is not. This is she. I don't know why nobody's putting a stop to it. Even the prosecutor who's doing the question or what gave her a question and now she just keeps talking. But like, why is she like nobody's stopping it? As a defense lawyer, I'm almost actually impressed that he's not stopping it because as a viewer or as a juror, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Amy's worried that Tristan's going to be pissed if he finds out about this affair. And when the phone data comes out in a little bit, you're going to see my thought process here.
Okay.
She's throwing Tristan under the bus here.
Yep.
The other thing I noticed while we're on the phone records that isn't related to phone records, it just made me think of this. Did you know this will be the Mr. Frazier's wife will be the second wife called.
Oh, I missed that.
He called the guy that she was having an affair. I don't think it is Miss Elanius. I don't, but Todd called. I can't even talk. Todd called the guy that she was having an affair with. He called his wife. He called her.
The first one?
Yes.
Which I would do too.
She just testified to that.
Oh yes, Smita don't mess around. She's gonna be calling all the wives.
No, I'd call your mom.
Smita would go
your
and get
uncle, your
she'd
grandpa.
put it on Facebook. It'd be on the Twitter. She'd get you a billboard. Everybody would know. Your 5th grade teacher would know you a cheater.
She'd be making videos.
leaving bad Yelp and Google reviews. Yeah. Smita ain't gonna play.
Oh yeah, the guy my contractor guy that like completely messed up, and we won't get into that. He is feeling my wrath right now, and he is not enjoying it.
I mean, he's like one step away from going down the family tree and just opening up the phone book and just telling the whole phone book. I don't. It's and because he thought that the husband wasn't punished enough. That's interesting thinking.
Right. And there's one text message I want you to pause on. They don't discuss it, but it's very weird. I'll tell you when, though.
Okay. I might be paused forever if I don't. I choked a little bit. All right, here we go. I'm pushing play. I might stay permanent paused. Here we go.
With the defendant, Todd, where he was asking you if you thought that Amy was having an affair.
Yes.
And at that point, you actually knew Amy was having an affair.
I did.
What was your response to Todd when he would ask you that?
My response to Todd, I kind of sidestepped the questions because I felt like Todd and I have always had pretty straight up with each other. And I felt like I was being put in a position where I had to lie to him, which I didn't want to do because, number one, I wasn't comfortable lying with him. And but on the other hand, I felt like I needed to protect Amy because she felt like she needed time to decide what she was going to do.
And what do you remember what kind of responses you would give Todd when he would ask you if you thought Amy was having an affair?
I would tell him, Todd, you need to talk to Amy. You just need to talk to Amy. Maybe you guys need to go back to counseling. You guys need to spend time together. I said, Amy likes to be out. She can't be trapped on the farm all the time. She's social. She wants to go out. She wants to look pretty. She wants to do things, and you need to do these things with her. I told him we were going on vacation in March. I said, you guys should join us so that you guys have time together. And I said, you need to spend time with her and your family.
Now, at some point at the end of August, do you remember going to a conference for work?
Yes.
And did you hear something or did something come to your attention during that conference at work?
So I went to a trauma conference and with other people that worked at Regional Medical Center. At that time, we were going to supper and it was mentioned that Amy was being naughty again.
And what did you take that to mean?
that they knew she was having an affair. And I asked, where did you hear this? And the person that said it told me he heard it from his brother-in-law, who was very good friends with Todd too. And so I knew it was out in the community.
When you heard that there were rumors going about Amy's affair, did you have any concerns?
Yes.
Why?
The next day when we were going home, my husband told me, you need to let Amy know. And I said, yes, I understand. I need Amy to know that Todd's going to hear this and that she needs to talk to Todd with Randy, her stepdad there, and tell him the truth and what's going on before he hears it from someone else.
Did you have a conversation with Amy about that information?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember if that was in person or phone?
I sent her a text and I said, I need to talk to you. And she goes, okay. She brought over I got eggs from her all the time. She brought over some eggs and I said, and it may have been some text and some talking to her in person. I told her it was out and that who had told me what was said. And she was very, very, very upset.
And during that conversation, was anyone else present?
No.
Did that conversation take place?
Thank you,
Yes.
Lana.
And what, you indicated a second ago that you said, what did you say to her about what else did you say to her? I guess I'll ask.
I told her it was out, what was said, and she kept focusing on who said it, who said it, who said it. And I'm like, Amy, that doesn't matter who said it. What matters is that it's out in the community. It's a small community. Todd's going to hear it from someone else. You need to tell him. And she kept focusing on who said it, who said it, who said it. So I told her who had said it. And she said, I'm going to tell Todd that there's rumors out there to stop this. So if he hears it, he'll think it's just the rumor mill going around.
And what was your response when Amy told you that?
I told her she needed to be honest with him and tell him. And I told her she needed to take Randy with her.
Thank you, Lana.
Her stepdad.
And why did you indicate to her that
Thank you
thought
so
that
much.
Randy should go with her?
Because I felt like she would be safe if Randy went with her.
And what was Amy's relationship like with Randy?
They have a very, very good relationship.
During your conversation with Amy, did she indicate to you that she was fearful of Todd?
She never came out and said she was fearful of Todd. She was more fearful of what was going on between Todd and Tristan.
Did you ever have a conversation with Amy where she told you if she came up missing, what to do?
Yes.
And do you remember when that conversation was?
What's up, Shmita?
What?
First of all,
This lady is off her rocker.
well, listen, if one of you girls, because I love you like that, came to me and this was your plan, I'm just going to tell Todd that it's just a rumor going around. Let me tell you what your pal Jen Lou would tell you. That never works. Act shocked. Don't get ahead of it. Thank you. Thank you, Anna.
Okay, so now she says that Amy never expressed that she was fearful of Todd.
Right.
But in the beginning of her testimony, it was like, oh, we got to keep this a secret from Todd because he's like abusive or something. Like they're acting like Todd is nuts for being pissed if he had an affair. Like, I don't, one second. Man, stop licking yourself.
Did you say Lana quit licking yourself?
No, she.
Guys, if my husband ever reaches out to any of you and says, I've been having an affair, and you guys say, oh shit, she's going to kill you, you're probably right.
Let me tell you, if your husband reached out to me and said that you were having an affair, I'd be like, new phone, who dis? And then I'd call you.
Right?
Like, you know what Teresa did? And Jen Lou's all, I totally do. The whole town's talking about it.
You hussy. Yeah, that wouldn't be me. I would be like, new phone, who dis? Teresa.
Right? But like, oh, we were more concerned about, Todd being close with the son. And it's like, why? I don't understand why.
To be fair here, that doesn't, I mean, you're right. That way, it doesn't make sense. But although she is being allowed to ramble, probably, it's like a whole gossip sesh, I feel like we should be at the bar having a couple of drinks and, maybe a ladies' lunch. I don't know what those are, but, whatever, something like that. But it's difficult. We won't be able to understand that because they're not going to be able to question her about stuff, about that kind of thought process and why they were thinking along those lines. They're only going to ask her the questions that they know the answers are going to be bad for Todd. They're going to make Todd look bad. So hopefully,
which is weird because it's making it look like Amy can't think for herself. Like she couldn't realize that having an affair was wrong. So Terry had to explain that to her and how she needs to go. I don't like this chick.
Well, she couldn't be my friend. She's not my kind of people. That's for sure.
Don't like
No
Terry.
way.
She's just trying to look out for Todd's best interest.
Correct.
Right.
I
will say she does look good for 56.
Yeah.
I thought she was younger.
I think I'm gonna keep this going because I'm a little verklempt about this Terry Stainer lady and why nobody is objecting to Terry Stainer, but here we go.
That conversation happened after Todd and I had kind of stopped texting or talking because I was very short with my responses to him. He said, Amy had gone to the state fair. I knew she was going to be with her friend there.
When you say her friend, is that the person she was
Yeah.
having?
You beat me to it, Shamita.
Yes.
That's the one I was going to highlight.
I encouraged Todd to go and to maybe surprise Amy and show up there so that.
Just so we're clear. So, Amy was planning on going to the state fair.
Yes.
And were you aware that she was going to be meeting the man she was having the affair with?
She said they were meeting and they were staying in a hotel together.
At that same time, were you still texting and speaking with Todd at times about their relationship?
Yes.
Just have to wait till I ask the question because the court
is
writing everything down. And you just indicated a moment ago that you at some point encouraged Todd to go to the state fair.
I did.
Why did you do that?
Because I wanted him to find them together when it would be safer for her.
And what do you mean by that?
I felt like if it was in a hotel with a lot of people, that maybe things would not escalate.
So what?
Now, as you indicated, you were still at this time when your conversations were going on with Amy. You're still having text.
She's like, her first response is, I'm super pissed that Amy's having an affair because Todd's going to kill her.
Correct.
Like, that's just, you don't fuck with Todd. Like, that's just how it is. Like, everybody knows you don't fuck with Todd.
Right.
And it's just like, on this line, she's like, hey, you guys need to, are you going to the fair tonight? Like, you should probably go to the fair tonight.
Right. I'm scared for my friend. I feel that she would be in danger should Todd find out. So what do? I send Todd to ambush like a bootleg cheaters.
I think she likes the drama.
Oh, if she was going to be at the fair too to watch it all go down.
She probably was.
She was.
She probably was going to be at the fair and watching it all down. She probably had her dadgum phone ready to record.
This lady is nobody's friend. I hope any of her friends that are watching this are like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, I
ladies,
just think she wanted the drama of it. I think she
anybody?
liked being in the middle of the drama.
I do too. She's a nosy Parker. If any ladies that are friends of Terry Stainer might be watching, y'all, don't unfriend her because then she'll know. But you can set your Facebook to where she doesn't see 90% of your posts. In fact, you can go to your posts and write share with everyone but Terry Stainer if you want.
She'd lose her mind.
Which is what I would recommend. Well, she won't know that she's unfriended. That's the way to do it. That's the sneaky way to do it. Just, if there's something important that
Well, now I know when I stop seeing all Jen Lou's posts, I'm like, I'm still friends with Jen Lou. Why the hell don't I see anything she posts anymore?
well,
Jen?
Jen. Hey, speaking of posts, guess who wished me a happy birthday today? Terry Hobbs.
No way.
He did. He accepted my friend request a couple of days ago. Yeah, he was really nice about it. And just real quick before I get off on too much of a tangent, the girls got me his book for my birthday and Twizzlers. I'm very excited. I can't wait to read that book.
That's pretty cool.
It is. These girls know me and Twizzlers. Those are my fave. Yup, Allie, you heard that right. Sleuths. Yeah, we'll talk about that on a more at another time because this is like she's again. I muted myself. She's like an hour and a half, and we're at the because of the outrage 24:41.
Yeah, see why I said I think this is all we'll be able to do tonight?
Yes, I trusted you. I did not argue. All right, here we go.
Some text conversations with Todd.
Yes.
And what other types of conversations or text conversations are you having with Todd?
Mostly with Todd by then was just, you guys need to talk. You guys need to talk. And then I can't remember what my last text was to him, but I remember his last text was, maybe everybody's lying to me about this. And then I never got another text from Todd.
Now, a minute ago, you said, we started talking about a conversation that you said happened after you encouraged Todd to go to the state fair with Amy. Is that a yes?
Yes.
And where did that conversation take place?
At my home.
And was anybody else present for that conversation?
No.
So what was the context of that conversation with Amy?
That conversation occurred. Amy had been with her family. Her uncle had had a head bleed. Her mom was trying to help take care of him. Amy went down for several days because he kept trying to get out of bed. He would fall. So Amy went down to spend nights there so that her mom could go home and rest. She had come home and went to Todd's mother's house to get Wyatt. And his mother did not want to let Wyatt go with her.
And would that have been sometime in October 2018? Yes. And did that conversation, was that text message or was it in person or both?
She sent me a text and she said, can you talk? And I said, give me a couple minutes. And then I called her and she was crying. She was upset. I couldn't hardly understand her. I said, Amy, what's going on? She said that she went to get Wyatt. Elaine said, he's not going with you because everybody knows you're crazy Amy. Everybody in the neighborhood is calling you crazy Amy. You're crazy Amy. You're not taking this kid because you're crazy Amy. And Amy's like, what are you talking about? And she said, it's harvest, it's a busy time for this family. You shouldn't have been gone. You should have been home and taking care of your children and your family. And Amy goes, I needed to be with my uncle. I needed to help my family. And he kept falling out of bed. And Elaine said,
It's
well,
hearsay, and I'm
tie
not sad
those
I
people
can't
to
push
bed,
pause.
and that's what they
Thank
should
you,
do to him.
Desired. Thank
And
you
you
so much.
come with
And
him.
Sleuths, I will absolutely do that.
Amy was very upset. She had texted Todd. Excuse me. She did not text Todd. She got a text from Todd that said, do not go with your mother. She's crazy. It was a text
Objection.
intended for Tristan that went to Amy.
Terry, when you say Elaine, is Elaine Todd's mother?
Yes.
Now, during any of your conversations with Amy, did
Yes,
she ever
Max 2002. That's
tell
exactly
you
what this is.
about an
Bravo
area
Court.
to look for her if she was ever missing?
Yes, it was the same day after we had the conversation on the phone. She came to my home. She was crying. She was red-faced. She had mascara running down her face. She was very upset. She said she needed to talk to Todd. She didn't understand why he would say that to Tristan. And she said, Terry, or she called me Tara. She said, Tara, if I ever come up missing, have them look in our new timber. And I said, Amy, you have got to get Randy here, and you've got to go talk to Todd.
Did Amy say anything else to you during that conversation that you recall?
Good
No,
night, Lana.
she
Thanks
was
for
just very
coming and
tearful.
thanks for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it.
She was going to go home and talk to Todd after she left my home.
Did you ever have a conversation with Todd when you indicated to him that maybe him and Amy should get a divorce?
Yes.
And was this in person, on phone, or text, if you remember?
I believe it was text.
And do you remember when that conversation was?
I think it was around, possibly, if I can remember, around the time of the state fair. Amy had kind of indicated, I knew she was going to be seeing this gentleman there. She had kind of indicated that maybe things were going very well with him, and that she was thinking that that's maybe something she wanted to do. She wanted to be with him. And so I felt like maybe if I prepared Todd just a little bit, and said, hey, Todd, maybe you two really aren't meant for each other. Maybe you two would be better off not being together.
And do you recall what Todd's response was?
He said, I have worked for this farm since I was 11, and I will not give it up.
Terry, do you remember having a conversation with Amy the week before her death?
Yes.
And was that a phone call or was that in person?
She sent me a text and said, hey, I need to talk to you. So I give her a call. She told me she was having surgery, wanted to know if I could come and take her to surgery and pick her up. And I told her I couldn't. I was working that day in St. Luke's. And so she goes, well, it's kind of, Todd's really busy right now. I don't know if he'll take me. But she said, I'll figure it out.
And did you learn that later Todd did take her for that procedure? Did you text Amy about that procedure after she had it?
I did.
And what was the context of that conversation?
I said, hey, how'd the ablation go? Because I had the same procedures, so I kind of knew what it was, what she was going through. We had talked a little bit about that before, like, hey, I did this, it's okay. It's very simple. And so I texted her, I believe, on the 7th and said, how'd the ablation go? And she responded, it went really well. She said, it's so much better. There's just a little tiny trickle of blood instead of me bleeding heavy like I did the last 40 days. She said, I'm going to take it easy today, but I feel pretty good.
And just, do you know what an ablation is with your medical background and with having that procedure?
Yes.
What is it?
Do you need me to pause, Mo?
So when someone has very heavy menstruation, a lot of times, especially if they become anemic, they will go in with it's almost kind of like a water bottle, and they heat up the uterine lining, and it kind of burns that lining off.
Relevant.
So that they don't have those heavy periods anymore.
Objection.
There's
that's
no nerve
that's me to
uterus, so
objecting
it's
up
not
there.
painful.
Yeah.
But
She should be.
Terry, when
She's
did
right.
you have that same procedure done? If you
I
remember.
had it done
Nobody cares.
probably about 5 years prior to Amy having hers done. or before
Objection.
Amy
Who
had hers
cares?
done.
And what was your recovery like?
I had no problems. I went back to work within the next day or two, and I had no problems with it at all.
Now, Terry,
what kind of work do you do? Oh, you're a nurse? You mean you don't lift heavy pet carriers, cleaning whatever those nipple things are called for the pigs, cleaning light fixtures in a barn where you don't even have a ladder, which is a clear OSHA violation because you're standing on a bucket while you have a wet bucket next to you. Is that correct, ma'am? You don't have anything to say, Terry? Come on.
Right.
You think we should try old Terry on 1.5 speed?
I just typed that in chat. Try her at least 1.25.
All right, we'll try her there.
Allie, I had to record this 4 times, so don't tell me about telling her to shut up. I typed in chat that I'm getting ready to fly to Iowa and punch Terry in the face.
It was a rough day for Mo.
You indicated
Very
that
rough.
some of these conversations with both Amy and Todd were by way of text message. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Were all of these conversations with either of them or both of them only text message, or were they in other forms as well?
Some were phone calls and some were in person. I never met in person with Todd. Todd was either through text or phone calls.
And did you at some point hand over some of those text messages to the police?
I did.
Do you have, you've prior to today looked at those text messages?
I did.
Do those text messages entail every conversation you've testified about?
No.
And why not?
I had gotten a new phone.
Listen to this.
So
New phone,
I
who
wasn't
dis?
quite used to my new phone, so I would accidentally delete things. Sometimes if I became irritated, I would just delete a text. And I did make Travis aware that I had probably deleted some text messages. And I said, if you need to go in my US Cellular and look those up or whatever you need to do, you're welcome to. But I did delete some of those messages.
And is Travis Hemaseth?
Yes.
One of the investigators in this
Yes.
case? Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Terry, I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as States Exhibit 66, Group Exhibit. If you could just briefly look through all of those pictures.
Okay.
There's some on the back too. Okay.
They look familiar.
And Terry, in state that Group Exhibit, States Exhibit 66, are those screenshots of the text messages that you tendered to the Delaware County Sheriff's Department?
Yes.
And do they appear to be true and accurate copies of the messages that you gave to those officers?
They are.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that Group Exhibit 66 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection? No, Your Honor. 66 is admitted.
And at this time, Your Honor, I would ask permission to publish to the jury and ask some additional questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Terry, I'm showing you one of the first messages. I believe it's the first message in your pack. It indicates, you can either see it up on the screen.
I can see it.
I think you have them in front of you. And it indicates that at the bottom there, you and Amy on July 26, 2018 had a conversation.
Yes.
And this is Amy's number in your phone, correct?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that Amy Mullis was Amy Mullis in your phone?
Yes.
And I believe Todd was Todd in your phone?
Yes.
And in this message at the bottom there, what kind of information are you and Amy exchanging?
At the bottom?
Yes.
That's when she asked me if we could talk because she was in trouble.
I'm going to go to the next page. And
Did you see that text message? Did you read the one before that?
That was when her.
No, you said you were going to tell me.
Oh, I just saw it. You need to read what it has nothing to do with this trial, but it speaks a lot about Terry.
All right, hold on. Let me rewind it real quick.
I think that's the one. Let me get my glasses.
I don't think I've ever actually read it. I want to know what it says.
All right, we're fixing to look at it. Dropped your eggs off at FS, meant to ask what's going on with Angie B. Got eggs, 3 question marks. Okay, I already am. Angie B has gone into full bitch mode. Fired her lawyer and hired some gay dude. Crying R to save her A. Got a second charge of lying to an officer. Also, Denny Bagby came forward saying she told him. Guess they also had a fling. Can you talk? I'm in trouble. Yes, I can talk anytime. Want to meet?
Wow.
Amy got Tear Bear has all the tea.
Wow. I saw that when I was recording. I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Crying
Yes,
rape.
and I believe
You can't say that word.
Todd was Todd in your phone?
Yes.
And in this message at the bottom there, what kind of
Right.
information are you and Amy exchanging?
It's okay.
At the bottom?
Yes.
That's when she asked me if we could talk because she was in trouble.
I'm going to go to the next page. And what does this page show here?
Make it bigger, Jen.
That was when her grandma had passed away, and she was at her grandma's.
And at the bottom there in the left-hand corner in the gray area, is that Amy's response to you?
Yes.
And can you just summarize there what she's talking about?
It's as big as it will get, Mo.
She was
That's all
talking
I meant
about
right
their relationship. They hadn't been intimate for a very long time. Todd was sleeping out in the living room. So I think she went to talk to him a little bit about, she didn't tell him about the affair, but just talked to them about their marriage.
And I'll go to the next page here. In the middle there, I know that the top part of the gray part continues your conversation from the prior page. In the yellow area, would it be fair to say the yellow area is your responses to
Yes.
Amy? And in that area, who are you talking about when you're talking about Amy's friend?
Jerry.
And that's the person she was having the affair with?
Yes.
And you're also indicating to her that you think she should talk to Todd?
I did.
And then at the bottom there in the gray is Amy's response to you?
Yes.
And on the next page, I think you're following along with the exhibits in front of you. I know the jury can see for themselves and they'll be able to look at these, but can you, on this page, are you continuing to talk about Amy and her relationship with Jerry?
Yes.
And then I'm going to go to the next page. And at the bottom there, I believe it indicates Friday, August 3rd, 2018.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And underneath that is a response or a question to you from Amy. Has Todd texted you anymore?
Yes.
And what is Amy referring to there?
I had told Amy that I had been talking to Todd, and she asked if he had texted me anymore recently. So I said no.
And at the bottom there, after you say no, what does Amy start talking to you about?
Todd had called Jerry's wife at the very beginning before I even started talking to him and asked if they were having an affair, or if she thought Jerry and Amy were having an affair. I believe she said that their marriage, she felt like their marriage was fine. At this point, Todd called her again and asked her again if everything was okay in their marriage.
And I believe that part of the conversation carries on to the next page. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you guys are still talking about her relationship with Jerry. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then I'll just go to the next page here. And is this one, you and Amy, talking about meeting for lunch and also continuing to talk about her relationship with Jerry?
Yes. This was after the state fair.
See, it says we need to
I'll go to the
meet
next
for some
page.
makeup now.
I think that this is just a continuation
boy.
of some of your conversations. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I'll go to the next page. At the bottom of this page,
Yes.
is there a conversation that talks about Todd?
Yes.
And what's the nature of that conversation? What's the nature of that conversation?
We had gone to lunch together, and after lunch, Amy texted me that if Todd happened to ask what time she left, I believe, yes, then she said to tell him around 1.
And do you know why she told you that?
Because she was meeting with Jerry.
And that conversation carries to the next page as well.
Yes. And I did not answer her that I would say that to Todd because I felt like I needed to be as honest with him as I could, and I wasn't going to cover for her.
And I'll go here to the next page. And in the middle of this page there, in the gray area where Amy is talking to you, can you just explain what that conversation's about?
That conversation is after the trauma conference when I sent her a text and said, give me a call. And then I told her about the rumors being out.
And then your conversation is talking about those rumors and how she's planning on telling Todd about them?
Yes.
I'll go to the next page here. And I know I'm asking you to kind of quickly look at them, but what's a summary of these text messages?
This is where she had talked to Todd about the rumors, and I think she really wanted him to believe they were just rumors, and that she had told him about the rumors and who had been saying certain things.
And then if I go to the next page,
Talking.
at the top there, what is Amy talking about?
We had talked a lot about if she was going to leave, and I felt like he was being a player, and I told her that, and he would tell her, you know, because Amy's clothes came from Goodwill and things like that. And he would say things to her like, wow, Amy, when we're together, we're going to burn all your Goodwill clothes and go get you a beautiful wardrobe. And so I kept asking her if he was really going to leave his wife or not. And she felt like possibly so, but she was also to the point where she felt like she was strong enough to leave on her own. If that was the case, it was not so much anymore she would leave for him, but she would leave on her own. She said she was quietly looking for jobs and somewhere to live.
And if I go to the next page, are you carrying on this conversation?
Yes. She had talked about how Todd was being Mr. Super Dad and all of a sudden showing a lot of interest in the kids. And I said, well, maybe, you know, maybe he's really trying. Maybe he wants to be a better dad. And she said, you know, really, how long is it going to last?
And I'll go to the next page here. And I know she sends you a picture of a Coke bottle.
not what
At
that
the bottom,
said,
you
lady.
guys are talking about getting together again.
Yes.
Talking,
And on the
snitching,
next page,
tomato.
I believe it's just also you guys talking about getting together and when you're going to get lunch again.
Yes.
And if I go to the next page here, just summarize this. I think it's the same type of thing.
We were trying to get together and we had planned on going for lunch. And I had taken a transfer for the hospital to, I don't remember, it was like somewhere clear on the other side of the state, Carroll or somewhere. And I was very tired. So I said, I really didn't feel like going out for lunch. And then she thought about just bringing something over and coming to my house.
And I'll go to the next page here. And at the top there in the gray, on the left, the first full gray message, what is Amy talking about there?
She said she had been sick with a cold. She kind of understood how I felt, and she didn't get out of bed much the day before because she wasn't feeling very well.
And she's talking about being in the hospital with her uncle?
Yes.
I'll go to the next page. And I believe this is the text where you're saying, I know you described this in your testimony, where you tell her to pick something up and come on over so you guys can talk. Is that yes? And again, I think this is just a continuation of that conversation. Does that seem right?
Yes.
And on the next page, I think the top half is you guys continuing that conversation.
Yes.
And the bottom half, which indicates Monday, October 15th, 2018, Amy sends you a text, can you talk?
Yeah.
And that's when, I think you indicated earlier, you told her, give me some time and then we can talk.
Yes, I did.
And on the next page, you send Amy a message.
This was after our conversation on the phone.
And what are you talking about here on the top right corner in the yellow, your response to Amy?
This was after she had called and she was so upset because Elaine did not want to give her son. And she was upset and crying. And after I thought about it, I'm like, this is kind of how their relationship had always been. Elaine's kind of the matriarch of the family. And
wait.
That's not
Elaine,
read what
the
she
one
says.
that's the same age as Amy?
Yes.
Read it. When it's her turn, her cold fucking A. Oh, I said. You read it, Jen.
All right, Amy, everything about that was plain bitchy. Don't take any of it to heart. What you are doing with your family is morally right. Don't let her bully you just because it happens to be fieldwork time. When it's her turn, her cold fucking ass can lay tied down in a bed with nobody there at her side. Thanks, Tara. I needed to vent. I do everything for my family and this is how she treats me. Like I said, now I know how she really feels about me. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
thanks.
gosh.
Thanks, Tara.
Well,
Care Bear.
Tara Bear. You know what I find interesting is this all the chat, all of us are pretty much all in agreement that this is foul on Tara Bear's part, right? But what she's doing here really is no different than other people who have shown screenshots. I just wanted to point that out. I mean, listen, I've been there when screenshots have been shown, and you know what? My ass is pausing. I read them.
Yep.
Right.
But this is we're all incensed. God, what a horrible friend she is. How dare she?
You know what she's doing is just laying down for Amy so that way Amy continues to tell her everything.
Exactly.
She doesn't really feel this way.
No,
She's
she
probably
doesn't.
like, your mother-in-law is telling you because she knows that what you're doing is scandalous. Like, hello, the whole town's talking about it, all 200 of us.
Exactly. You know what I want to say? I don't really care about the text messages between her and Terry. I care about the text messages between her and other people where she talks shit about Amy. That's
yes.
those are the ones I want to see.
But I can't believe because she was with her uncle, and I guess the mother-in-law said they should just tie him down in the bed. That's why she says when it's her time to go, they could just lay and tie her in the bed with nobody there. That's some cold-hearted stuff.
It is. It is. Let's hope the defense has better screenshots than this. They probably don't.
Is very controlling. And so I answered back to her this because I thought it was terrible that she suggested they just tie her uncle to the bed. And then after that, Amy stopped at the house.
And so these conversations are after you talk on the phone, but before Amy stops over.
Yes.
She thought it was terrible,
And
but
then
she
at
said
the bottom
same
there
thing.
it refers to Tuesday, October 30th, 2018.
Yes.
And Amy sends you another message. Can you talk? Won't take long.
Yes.
I'll go to the next page. And then I think you're again talking at the top about you being home and you can talk.
Yes.
And then at the bottom, what are you guys talking about there on the bottom? After November 7th, 2018. I apologize.
About the cramping?
Yes.
She's talking about, I asked her how her ablation went. I was in Des Moines for another conference at that time. So I sent her a text and said, hey, how did the ablation go? And that was her response. That it went very well. She was cramping a little bit and she was just going to chill that day.
And then on the next page, I know you indicated that you had an ablation yourself.
Yes.
And are you talking to her about your experience with your ablation?
Yes.
And she responds to you?
Yes, she did.
And then on the next page, did she send you a picture?
She sent me a picture of her IV site because she had a lot of bruising. And being as I started a lot of IVs and stuff in my career, that she knew I would find that kind of amusing because she did bruise pretty good.
And it indicates there that was Friday, November 9th?
Yes.
Was that the last time that Amy sent you any type of message?
Right before the
Yes.
murder.
And was that the last time that you spoke to
Or
Amy?
the death.
And that was by way of text message?
Yes.
Now, you also indicated that there were some text messages that you gave to the police that you had with Todd.
Yes.
You can go to the next one, please.
Wow.
And I guess now it shifts and Todd's messages are in gray. Does that seem fair
Yes.
to say? And your responses are in yellow?
Correct.
And looking at this text message, what is Todd saying to you at the beginning on August 6, 2018?
He had been telling me about Amy not sleeping, being short fused with him and the children, that he was kind of staying away from her because of her being moody.
And then on the next page, your message is with Todd. What is he indicating to you here in that top gray message?
He said he was looking up what could be wrong with her, why she was so moody, why she seemed depressed, and he thinks, thought maybe it was premenopause. It sounded like her symptoms. So I encouraged him to keep trying.
And you say, good for you, keep trying.
Yes.
And Todd does respond to you and says, thanks for the support.
Yes.
I've got nothing to lose. And then if you go to the next page, you're continuing to talk to Todd a little bit about this.
Yes.
And he indicates to you, I'll keep at it, but she doesn't make it easy.
Yes.
And then if you could just summarize, because I know that's kind of a long message there in the bottom left, what you guys are talking about there.
He was saying that Amy was just laying around. She was being lazy. She wasn't doing things. She wasn't, taking care of the lawn. She wasn't taking care of the home. She wasn't, she is going and doing things with the pork producers. I think at this time she was probably doing a lot of stuff with Taylor and her gymnastics.
The what?
And that she was getting massages. She was doing all kinds of other
I
things,
don't
but
know why
not
she just
doing her
read it.
responsibilities on the
Where I
farm.
Now go to
Paraphrase.
the next page here.
It would have been quicker for her to read
You
it.
just described.
Yes.
And then your response is in summary, you're trying to encourage him to hang out with Amy and do things with Amy.
Yes. And that's when I encouraged him to go to the fair.
And this is when you indicated that you were.
It would have been, first of all, it would have been faster for Terry to read these, A, and B, I have to agree with Heather, whatever. Terry is the friend for you. If you want your screenshot shown, go friend request Terry here. She'll do it.
Kind of hoping he
I don't understand this at all.
And what is Todd's response when you're kind of encouraging?
I know.
They read all the text messages.
Usually they do.
The lawyer tried to read it for them. It was an objection. And they never objected.
I know. No, they usually do that when they're admitted into evidence, and they usually do go over them.
Yeah, I'd be like, objection? That's not what it says.
Sustained.
Can you highlight Molson Man's comment? Dude, that shit's hilarious.
Where? Oh, where? Get it. Shmita.
Oh.
That one. Dude, why isn't he just reading them? They're obviously photos.
Correct.
Just let us fucking read it.
Correct.
I know, it's so weird.
And she said that she screenshot. Hello, ma'am. Those are not screenshots. Let me tell you what you did. You laid the phone on a counter, probably in your kitchen, maybe your bathroom. I don't know where the lighting is good. And you took a picture of your phone on the counter. That's what you did. That's not a screenshot. Lord. This was 2019.
And she probably couldn't wait to do it either.
Let me tell you something.
It was probably already done. She was probably already ready.
Correct. She's like, I know they're
these
going to
as
ask
they
me.
go. She's like, I have to document all of them.
Yes.
And can I ask, so what happened with the fucking state fair? Did nobody go to the fair? Did anybody go to the fair?
I don't know. But she was supposed to go with Jerry, and this best friend of hers wanted Todd to show up and bust him.
Yeah, but now
But did anybody even know? Where is everybody?
I don't think
think
so.
it does. It is talked about later.
Is that okay?
I feel like I don't know for sure, but I feel like I heard it again later somewhere. Because I never saw this yesterday or the other day when I was recording this was the first I saw this testimony, and I remember about the fair. So we'll see.
I'll tell you this much. I bet if they all did go to the fair that night, that fair was lit.
Todd didn't go.
What? That's okay. Now I have questions about that.
Does anybody want to call out that they're going to the fair to expose an affair? Like nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes. No. Somebody did call it out. Please let me scroll. Miss Delaney has got it.
Oh, Missy.
Affairs at the fair.
Affairs at the fair. Correct.
Oh, Missy's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she is.
Oh, yes, she is.
What I don't get about all this is that if Todd is so he can't be too violent. This is where follow me here. All right. Because he all the times that he's done any confrontation, right, with the first person that Amy had the affair with, and now the second person has been on the phone, not in person. He had an opportunity to confront the man that he believed is having an affair with his wife and bust them both at the fair, but he didn't take it. So how violent and hostile and angry could he really have been?
That's what I was saying. This is her second affair. She's not dead.
Why is she going to the fair without the kids?
She went to the affair or to the fair?
Both.
The fair.
The fair to have an affair.
Not going to the affair with the kids, because that would be, she'd definitely lose Tristan.
Correct. However, this was a slumber party fair. Remember, they were going to have a
someone
sleepover.
to watch the kids. Get someone to watch the kids and go to the fair. Well, did the kids not want to go to the fair?
Have you ever been to a fair?
So weird. Yes, as a kid.
Okay, but you know that. How old were you?
Seems nice.
Not all fairs are for kids. I don't know what they'd be doing in Iowa. Or maybe you just don't want to take your
What kind of
heathens.
fair
I
do
don't
they
know.
go to? What kind of fairs happen in Iowa?
I'll tell you this. Okay, I used to go to the Texas State
What do
Fair, and
you
it's been a
mean,
while.
Doc?
They're not. The Texas State Fair isn't really for little kids. It's
How
for
is it
bigger
not?
kids. Because they don't really have anything there for little kids to do.
They don't have rides?
Not for
They don't
little
have
kids.
rides?
No, they don't have rides for little kids. They don't.
Well,
They don't.
I'm from the country, obviously, and we have country fairs.
We got country rides.
Well, the state fair starts for Texas OU weekend, and
We got petting
these are way-
zoos.
I mean, they have that, but after that, that's it. They don't really have it. They don't really have anything. They don't have rides for little
Well, see,
kids.
like a fair out here, like not a fair, like just a regular fair, not enough fair. But out here, like it's got all kinds of different stuff. So there's stuff for the adults, there's stuff for the kids, there's rides,
Right.
there's games, there's petting zoos. Then you have like the animal shows, like where the kids are coming in and showing their pigs and shit. And then you got
Exactly.
you got
We got
concerts
real
at
good
night,
at the
you got
Texas
demos
fairs,
and
too.
derbies.
It's not like that at the Texas State Fair. I don't know what else to tell you. I've never been to the one. That's Mo Jeanette, or I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Obviously, the S in Teresa stands for. I forgot what I was going to say. I had a joke, and then I got distracted by chat. Salacious. Oh no, I know what it is. The S in Teresa S is scandalous.
Scandalous.
Because you take to the fair to the affair.
Not in an affair, just a regular old fair.
I didn't know
You know,
there
about
was an
them
adult
petting zoos and
fairs.
stuff.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not saying they're adult fairs, but I'm just saying like the Texas State Fair, it depends on how young your kids are, but her younger ones, like the little one, there wouldn't have been rides for them. I remember when I went and I took all my kids and my nephews, I had to ride with Ryan in the bumper car. We had the best time. I drove, but he
you take all the
couldn't go
fun
by
out of it.
himself. Well, because they wouldn't let him drive himself because he was too short. And he was like 7. I was like, what are you talking about? He's almost as tall as I am. He can drive. I'll be right here next to him. What could possibly go wrong? It's friggin' bumper cars.
You have
The whole point
carnivals
is to
and
run into,
fairs?
yeah, the whole point is for you to run into people. This will be even funner. He's young. His bones aren't that hard. It'll be fine. They wouldn't let me do it.
His skull's not all the way
But
formed.
It'll be fine. I'm right here. What's the worst that can happen? They go like what, 1.5 miles an hour?
It's like he can't
Her
fly out
whole
from the passenger seat just as easy as he can from the driver's seat.
Correct. It's either safe or it's not. Get out of here.
It's rules. You got to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Her whole excuse for talking to Jerry is so the kids can start showing pigs. Well, wouldn't you show pigs at a fair?
Yes.
I would think so. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Somebody
like
needs to
any of
Google
this.
fairs in the Iowa state.
Mhm.
Well, I want to know why she was going.
And
Why she told Todd she was
stay at a
going by
hotel?
herself.
Well, she probably didn't tell him she was going to the fair, right? She probably said, I'm going to go visit Uncle
The hospital.
Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, then Terry just busted her. Get someone to watch the kids and surprise her at the fair.
Terry's been busting her this whole time.
Terry
She says I'm talking to Terry, talking, snitching, tomato.
Tomato,
That's what she's
tomato.
doing. That's what she's been doing. I've been talking to Todd. No, you've been snitching at Todd, lady.
God.
All right, let's see what else this.
I'm surprised she's not talking to Jerry too.
She probably is. We don't know all the texts. Give me your phone and don't be trying to break the SIM card. I'm onto that trick too, lady.
Him to go to the fair. His response basically was that she's going to be busy and he didn't feel like she wanted him there anyway. And then I'll go to the next page. And again, that top conversation kind of continues from the first one before. Correct.
I'm glad you came, Amelia.
And
Thank you
at
so
the
much
bottom
for
there,
making
I
that
believe that's
video
another
for me. I
text from
really
Todd to
appreciate
you.
it.
Yes, it is. And what is that referring to?
It was after Amy and I had gone to lunch. And he said she seemed like she was in a better mood when she got home.
Then I'll go to the next page. And I know that your response after that conversation is, I just want you guys to figure things out.
Yes.
And at the bottom there, Todd is responding to you about your lunch, I believe.
Yes, he is.
I'll go to the next page. No, this is Thursday, August 30th, 2018. And there's a long gray message that was from Todd. What is Todd talking to you about in this message?
He is talking about, after I had told Amy about the rumors being out. So he is talking about her after she told him. He said suddenly she was nice to him. And he was wondering how they got out, how they started. He said he felt like it was weird since he only talked to one guy about it and Amy's stepdad. And that he did tell me about the problems. He said that she cried a lot that night and said she should leave because we're better off without her.
Thank
Now,
you,
in this text
Amelia, the
message,
sweet.
it
Thank you so
indicates-
much.
I guess I did tell you about text problem.
Yes.
Do you know what Todd is referring to in that part?
What I felt like he was referring to is that he had told me I knew about what was going on. And I think he felt like maybe I had said something to someone.
And when he says text problem, did you think he meant the 128 text messages?
Yes.
He told you that were between Amy and Jerry.
Yes.
And I'll go to the next page. And at the top there, Todd is indicating to you that things are pretty good. Is that true?
That day was,
I'm sorry,
was
on a good note, most of today was good.
Yes.
And you indicate she needs some counseling, Todd, for her own sake.
Yes.
And why did you respond with that message?
Because Amy was when I talked to her, didn't know what she was going to do, didn't know how to go on with her life as far as when she left, if she was going to be with Jerry, if she was going to be on her own. And I felt like this was maybe a way she needed to talk to someone out of the situation and maybe figure out. I said to her, you need to figure this out without Jerry to figure out what is going on with you, that you can get your life together first before you have a relationship. The suggestion to Todd was Amy did need to go see someone. I meant it as so she could get on with her life and figure things out.
And then Todd responds to you that he thinks it would be hard to get her into counseling.
Yes.
And I'll go to the next page.
Yes.
Let me. Now in this text message at the top, you and Todd are talking about a conversation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then in the middle there underneath where it says 8 p.m., there's a text message to you from Todd. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is that text message?
This is referring to the rumors being out and who was saying them.
Because at the top, you're talking about the rumors.
Yes.
And when you say rumors, what rumors is that?
The rumor I had heard at the conference about, and it was out in the community, that Amy was having an affair.
And you respond, it doesn't really matter who said it. They are out there.
Yes, because they were both Todd and Amy were very focused on who said the rumor, who I heard it from.
And Todd responded to you, either weird or true, and everyone is lying to me.
Yes.
And then I know at the bottom there, you then send Todd a text after you hear of Amy's death.
Right.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, cross-examination.
Ma'am, I just want to make sure I understand the history of you and your relationship with Amy and Todd, okay?
Okay.
Get her.
You said you met Amy when you were both working at the Manchester Hospital about 2006,
I believe so, yes.
and you began to not only have a working relationship, a friendly relationship, but also a social one,
Yes,
including houseboats and golfs and lunches and so forth.
correct.
How long after you met Amy at the Manchester Hospital did you then change employment situations?
Alley 79, I think everybody.
Probably
hates Jerry.
within,
Thank you, Rochelle. That was so sweet of you. Thank you very much.
a year, 6 months to a year.
And I believe you said you associated with the hospital in Iowa City.
It was a ambulance service in Iowa City.
And then subsequently to St. Luke's.
Correct.
How long were you at this ambulance service in Iowa City, and when would you have started working at St. Luke's approximately?
I started at St. Luke's in August of 2007.
The
That's
record
still
will
a position that
reflect
you hold, or at least you still work for St. Luke's in some degree.
Yes.
miscellaneous.
And you said 2007.
Correct.
After you changed from Manchester Hospital to the ambulance service and then to St. Luke's, how was your relationship with Amy then?
We were still remain very good friends.
And were you still living in Earlville,
No, I was living in Manchester at that time.
even though you were
This
working
very
for this
good
ambulance
friend thing
service
is
in Iowa
going to
City?
irritate me. You are nobody's
Yes,
very
I
good friend.
went to the
Yeah,
ambulance service in Iowa
my
City
very good friends
because they
don't
did
snitch
his
me
little
out
paper, and that's what I had wanted to do.
to my husband or the
You then
cops.
commute.
Yes, I did.
Same thing with St. Luke's.
Correct.
Okay. The next thing in my notes is I have is that you and Amy both did volunteer work for the Earlville Fire Department.
Yes, we did.
When did that begin, approximately?
I probably started that in, I can't even tell you for sure, 2008, 2009.
Oh, but you remember every conversation you had ever.
Was Amy
Only
still
the ones
working
that
at
involve
Manchester
Amy.
Hospital then?
Yes.
Dates is hard.
You indicated that you met Todd through Amy and that you didn't have a lot of contact with him, at least directly.
No, not socially. Amy usually did things on her own.
You described him as being very passionate about his farming.
Yes, he is.
Then, about 5 years ago, 2013 plus or minus,
You
in a
don't need
golf
friends
outing,
like
she
that,
tells you
Max
that she's had an affair.
2002.
Yes, she did.
And your reaction to that was to try to guide both Amy and Todd into some counseling to preserve the marriage.
I did.
And they
Oh,
took your
now she
advice.
thinks
They
she's a
went
hero.
to counseling together, right?
They did.
I'd like to cancel my subscription to Terry Stainer, please.
How much longer is this chick on the stand?
We're at 101.05 and she goes
that
for
It seemed that though that
134.50.
after this
Oh, God.
She's at one
revelation
and a
that she
half
had this
speed
affair,
too.
that Todd seemed to have a hard time getting over it. Is that right?
Correct.
And that he was more wanting to know where she was at, who she was at, that kind of thing.
Yes, he did.
Look
Do
how
you know-
short her answers are. This
Either
is
of them ever
crazy.
share with you what the counselors were suggesting that they do in terms of repairing this relationship?
No.
So you don't know that the counselor was telling both of them that Amy had to be accountable to Todd because of her infidelity.
Yes, she did say that. Yes.
Chicken
And I
lady
think I
named
do-
the right
told me that too.
chicken after me. She sure did.
From that time in 2000, let's say 2013, when you learned of that affair, and I'm not saying that's exactly right, but from that point up until 2018, last summer, how much contact were you having with Amy during that period of time?
I saw her on ambulance calls. I saw her at fundraisers. We went to lunch together quite often. We golfed as on a league.
And this was during this period of time, Amy had left her employment at the Manchester Hospital.
She did.
So she was a full-time stay-at-home mom farmer.
Yes, she was.
Did you have much direct contact with Todd during those years?
No. Occasionally, if I stopped at the farm to pick up eggs or something like that, I did, but he was always very, very busy, so you didn't see Todd often.
When you said that, if my notes are correct, you said that in the summer of 2018, Todd contacted you and said that Amy's acting strangely, and mentioned these text messages.
Yes, he did.
At that time, did you know about Amy's affair with Jerry?
No, I did not.
And your reaction was, you guys need to talk.
Yes. I did tell him I felt like it was odd behavior and that he needed to talk to her about it and ask her about it.
She did hit her up quite frequently for those eggs.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, this lady
When
needs to
did
lay out
you
the eggs.
know for sure?
Yes.
And I guess what I'm asking you is, when did Amy tell you about the second affair with Jerry?
It would have been
I
after
unsubbed
the
from
first
her
text
too,
where she
Amelia.
said she was in trouble.
So I hope this doesn't get real confusing, but I want to kind of talk about some of these text messages that were in that exhibit that the state was showing you, okay?
Okay.
And just so I can kind of find my place, there's a message on Thursday, July 26th, started out, looks like on a completely unrelated subject, but then she says, "Can you talk? I'm in trouble."
Yes,
That's what's the one you're talking about.
correct.
So we're talking July 26, 2018.
Correct.
I knew you were going to catch that, Schmida.
And your response, I believe, was, "Yes, I can talk anytime. Want to meet somewhere or phone?"
Correct.
By the time you texted that response, did you know that "I'm in trouble" meant she was having an affair?
I had a bad feeling.
Okay.
I did not know for certain.
Nobody's ever sent me a text that
But
said they
also
were in trouble
well,
and it was a good story.
Then on Monday, July 30th,
So
how are you doing? This is you to
calm
her.
down,
How are you
no
doing?
shamus.
I know your grandma was special to you. Her grandma had passed.
Correct.
And she follows that with, "Been the longest, crappiest week of my life." We saw that on the screen.
Correct.
Was the longest, crappiest week of my life due to the death of her grandmother?
I believe it was both things combined, the death of her grandmother and the stress over having the affair.
Because she goes on in that crappiest week of my life message to talk about Todd.
Correct.
Pretty easy resolution to that situation there, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And you seem to be responding that it sounds like you're having doubts of whether or not Jerry's going to really follow through and have a life with her.
I did.
Because you ask her, "Are you 100% certain he's going to do it?"
I did.
Because
And
she
her
was,
response was, "I'm 99% sure."
Yes, she did.
yeah, because she was probably texting Jerry on the side too. And she had asked Jerry, "Hey, what are your intentions with my friend?" She already had the scoop. That's the kind of girl this Tear Bear is.
I want to know if she tells Todd to call the wife too.
She did.
She told Todd to
Oh,
call
no. That's not true. No, that's not true. No. I take that back. I take
Okay.
that back. My
I
bad.
was like, dude, seriously?
She did. Wait, maybe she did say that. I don't know. I can't remember now.
No, she didn't.
She just testified about him calling the first Sancho's wife. Right. Who's running the farm? You guys are texting all the days, gossiping. No one.
Tristan.
Yeah.
He's missing all the school so he can run the farm with no underwear.
Right. Lord, this is bad.
During that time here up until July 30th, were you having any text messages or phone conversations with Todd?
I would have to look through to see exactly when I talked to Todd.
If my notes are correct,
Yeah,
if you look at August 6th in the
In a
messages
box
between you and
with a
Todd,
fox.
you have those up there with you.
Here or there.
Yes.
Terry eats them anywhere.
It's the very first page of your communication or text messages with Todd. It's right after the photo she sent you of her IV site.
Okay. And what are you referring to?
Does that appear to be the first text communication that you'd had with Todd during the summer?
The IV, where she's showing me the IV site?
No, the next page where you're communicating with Todd.
I read that as mattresses at first. Matt.
The first one would have been in July.
And I was going to
that
ask
I
if they
talked
were
to Todd.
possessive.
A phone conversation?
I honestly do not remember if our first conversation about the 128 text messages was phone or if it was a text.
Because that date is August. And she just testified saying that she didn't know
There
about
was a
the
text
affair
message
when
with
Todd brought it
and
to
if
her.
you can find it on August 16th,
Oh,
where he talked about doing
good
research about
catch. Good
premenopause. Well, it may be on the page before. I believe the date is August 16th.
Okay,
That's the message you got from Todd, right?
we lost it.
Just a little retrospect that this is August 16th, 2018.
Right above how are things?
Yes.
August 16th.
Yes.
So the next page. Todd's talking about his researching.
Yes.
Okay. And you respond, good for you. Keep trying.
Correct.
In your opinion, was Todd trying to understand what Amy's situation was, what her behaviors were?
You want my opinion?
Well, you told him to keep trying.
My opinion was he was trying to make
Been your
Amy seem
opinion the
like she
whole
was crazy.
time.
Let me just say this.
It's all been her opinion. She hasn't read the text word for word. It's been her opinion of her paraphrasing.
Correct. But let me just say this. How good of a let's put everything else aside, okay? The fact that she's totally snitched her friend Amy out, the fact that she's, all these other things. Just that one single text where she is encouraging Todd to talk to Amy about perimenopause. As a woman, we all know that's a bad idea. That was literally the worst advice you could have given, aside from ambushing your friend and her Sancho at the fair in front of the entire ass town.
Well, she also suggested that he ambush him at the hotel room so other people would be around.
Yeah, let's cause a whole scene. But first, ask her if she's suffering from perimenopause. Go away, Terry.
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
He never said that to you.
Nope.
I don't think she liked Amy.
You continue to have text exchanges with Todd.
What was your first clue? The fact that she was ratting her out?
Jeanette, I said the same thing when I was recording it. I was like, Amy's going to come back and haunt this bitch.
Was when he contacted you about her not doing her farm work and chores and housework and so forth. Remember that?
Yes.
And you responded that get someone to watch the kids, go to the fair.
I did.
I would haunt her,
that
and
point,
then I would wait for you guys
I didn't
to
find it
pass
anywhere else
over and
in
gather
your
you up so you can haunt
statements
her too.
That
That's what
you
I
were trying
do.
to get her caught.
I was.
But at that point, there didn't seem to be, from the text message and so forth, anything of grave concern here.
I did not want to anger Todd. I didn't want to lie to him. I wanted to give Amy time to figure out what she was doing. But on the other hand, I was very careful for her. I had mentioned several times that she needed to tell Todd what was going on with her stepdad with her. And I felt like if he found them there, there would be a lot of people around.
Oh, lies.
Well, you've talked about that.
Let's see.
Did you ever witness
There's
any
Todd's eyebrow.
inappropriate physical contact between Todd and Amy?
No.
Did you ever hear about it?
Only on one occasion when she was talking about he was angry at her and pushed her down on the bed and had very rough sex with her.
Oh boy.
I've been waiting for
when that happened?
I do not recall. It was at some time during this conversations we'd been having at the end of the summer.
Look at his face.
Well, where did she come up with afraid for her
Did-
life?
Well, let me go.
She's trying to cover for her ass because she knew she was being a shady ass hoe.
She knew she was being messy, and she's busted being messy, and Todd's face said it all. If he had a thought bubble over his head, it would read messy.
No, I think it would read a little bit more than that.
Okay. This is too much.
And then she
different
said
place.
she wasn't trying to anger him, but wanted to send him to Buster.
Look,
Because
I'm
that's going to
telling
be a joyful occasion just because
Right.
it's at the fair.
Right. What are they going to get a blue ribbon for causing the most scene at the Iowa State Fair or whatever it is?
Jeez almighty.
Are they going to trot around like they do the show pigs? I don't get it.
You said you attended a medical conference and someone there told you that Amy was doing bad things again.
Yes,
Where was that conference at? Do you remember?
Des Moines.
And it appeared from the exhibits that went up that on August 29th, you texted Amy and said, you need to give me a call.
I did.
And she responded with a text about a half hour later. I'm going to talk to Todd and ask him if you talked to anyone about calling Jerry's wife because of the text. If I tell him the rumors is there before he hears it, it may help.
That was after she had called me.
Right. You'd had a conversation.
Correct.
And then you responded, I don't know Ames, you need to talk to him,
Yes,
meaning Todd.
correct.
And she makes a comment, this is not what I needed.
Correct.
So would it be fair to say that Amy's very concerned and upset that there's rumors about her having another affair?
Yes.
And did it appear, well, let me ask you this. Would it be fair to say that she is understanding from what you told her that you were at this medical conference is that these rumors were coming from the Manchester hospital?
I did not understand that they were told to me by an employee from the Manchester hospital, yes, that I was at the conference with.
Okay. Because I
Okay,
think we'll
hearsay
learn later today that
relevance
we now
next.
know that Amy called an
Right,
employee
exactly.
at the Manchester hospital
This whole town is a big gossip
that same
town.
day.
She did.
Who's doing any of the work?
Very upset, asking that these rumors be squelched.
Yes.
The way these adults
And
act, it's
if
no
we look
wonder
at
there's
the text
the
messages
whole
between you and
situation
Todd
with Children of the
on
Corn
August
got
30th.
started.
He contacts you and said Amy did talk to him.
Yes.
She probably does, Max
Said she was upset,
2002.
cried a lot,
She's probably in like
Yes.
11 billion group chats, and they all got
and then goes
different
on to say,
combinations
on a
of
good
people
note,
in
most
them.
of today was a good day.
Oh, we'll get more friends
did.
later on.
We joked a little.
Did she just quote Ice Cube? Today was a good day. Bless
I
nobody
snorted
I
a little.
know got caught cheating today. Gotta say, it was a good day.
I did not expect Ice Cube to come into this trial.
Are you kidding me? I can make a reference to music and movies. I low-key want to know, though, if I were cross-examining Miss Tare Bear here, I'd want to know if, with the amount of eggs that Amy was consistently bringing you, were you blackmailing Amy? Was she paying you in eggs? She should get her money back, or her eggs, excuse me.
I wish you were
Yeah.
cross-examining. You'd do a way better job because you would have subpoenaed her whole phone.
I would have. And did you hear? He got spicy there. Well, let me ask you this. Well, okay. You got a little fire in your belly. Good for you.
Yes, I think Amy felt like she was in the clear for a while.
So Todd's reaction to Amy telling him that there's new rumors about her having another affair is that they had a good day and they joked a little. I'm just asking, isn't that what the messages
That's
say?
what my messages say, yes.
See? Feisty there, too.
And you can, once again, you encourage them to get some counseling.
I did.
He's probably like, I hope you don't talk to my wife.
You in a group chat with my wife? I would have
And
subpoenaed her phone
his
just for that
response on
alone.
that same day, the only way to get her there is to drag her there. I told her weeks ago that she had the problem, so I should go because I become a super dad, in her words. The kids come to me first, and she gets mad so fast. She's very different at home. Just ask the kids.
Correct.
You did, Molson
I did
man.
not see any of that from her.
Point to you.
On September 1st, you and Amy text started out with you saying, "How is it going?"
I'm kind of
She said,
side-eyeing
"Okay,
her,
at the water
Missy.
park with kids, Todd and I have talked."
I just
He knows
saw
the word is out there. Not
Oh,
sure what's
that's
going to happen next. Guess time will tell.
Correct.
Oh, but Terry Bear has a plan for what's happening next. Ambush.
And there continues to be some messages between you and her about her struggling with should I stick it out, make the marriage work, should I leave, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Ooh, yes. Let's call Tammy
And I think
and her
I'll
and her
summarize
striped
perhaps
sweater.
the content there from
I'm
in
still
those
laughing at
messages.
what
is
Missy
You're encouraging to do this on your own. Don't depend on Jerry or anybody else. Make your own decision.
Yes, I did.
You're right up there with me, though, Molson man. Neck and neck. Usually, you're pretty. You know a lot of stuff too. I'm always impressed by your horror knowledge.
Can I make something clear?
No.
Just a moment, please.
Okay.
Just a moment, please. He put on his dad voice. That's that voice that dads use with the kids when they're running around and the mom's all frazzled, and the dad walks in the room and says, "Hey, knock it off," and they all stop
I'm gonna jump
immediately. They
backwards
don't
a
ask
little
any
bit.
questions. They just do it. Or you've
It
been
looks
yelling
like
at them.
on-
Come on, you guys, cut it out.
August 22nd, you were having some email exchanges
Are
or
we
text
gonna
messages,
go
I
through
should
the
say,
whole
text message
year?
exchanges with Amy. She's talking about lunch. This would have been right after the state fair, right? August 22nd.
Correct.
Had Amy shared with you that she
Well,
was
she's salty
disappointed
she didn't
because
get to
her
say
and Jerry
her
weren't able
point.
to hook up the way
Yeah,
they
she
wanted?
is.
Yes, she did.
And at 9:06 on August 22nd, she says, after lunch, I'm going to meet Jerry. We had a little setback and we need to meet for some makeup sex.
Yes, she did.
And then the lunch plans continued.
Correct.
Notes from
Next
the
day, the
stripy
23rd,
sweater.
thanks for the chat. Missed that. If Todd happens to ask, I'll be calling him. We chatted till 1 o'clock. But I doubt he'll text you. Don't wait so long for our next lunch. Did it appear that she was using you as a cover for meeting Jerry?
That time it did, but I did not answer her that yes, I would cover for her. I just dropped that subject because I did not want her to feel like I would enable her in that situation. I was there to support her, not judge her, but not enable her.
Okay, let me
like that
just
same
push
day
pause
Todd
here
was
for
texting
just
you
a
and-
second.
Yes.
All right.
Terry, shut the hell up.
Let me just say this, Tear
She's
Bear.
trying to save her reputation and it's gone.
That ship has sailed because the people of Irville, Iowa, know you're a gossip and messy, and now all of the YouTube's land is going to know it too.
And
Ma'am.
whoever that one girl is that says she said she was lying about the R word, she's going to be pissed at her.
Yes, but here's my problem with all of this. I
Oh,
didn't
no,
want.
we got the sigh.
Yeah, you got a sigh. I had to take a breath. Okay. Covering for your friend one time does not an enabler make. Okay. It isn't like Terry or Amy is a recovering addict of some sort. And let's say she is an alcoholic and she's in recovery and she asks you to go get her a beer or a 6-pack of beer or a 5th of vodka. Okay. That's not this. Or maybe Amy had a little too much fun with the pills and went to recovery and she's hitting you up for some Xannies. That's not this. You're covering for your friend. Okay.
Right.
That's a mess.
See, I would have been like, okay, yeah, sure. Well, I wouldn't have been talking to Todd in the first place. So there's that.
Of course you would, Mo. Of course you would be like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
All right.
Ridiculous.
You seemed very appreciative that she was having lunch with you and she seemed to enjoy that and make her feel better.
Also, I think it's
During
convenient
the months
that
of
some of her
September and
text
October.
messages were deleted.
Accidentally
How
on
much contact were you
purpose.
having with Amy?
Mm-hmm.
It varied during the fair, maybe not quite as much. Occasionally, pretty much it was either
I'll
we would
join
go
that
to
group,
lunch or
Max.
text once in a while on the phone.
Well, this was in September and October. This was after the medical conference and rumors are flying and Amy talked to Todd. Todd texted you and so forth, right?
Correct.
All that was around August 28th, 9th, September 1, right in that condensed time, right?
It's just confusing because I was at two separate conferences real close together there.
Okay. But after that flurry of activity and exchanges in September and October, you said your contacts with Amy kind of trailed off.
They weren't as frequent. We still communicated. We still went out to lunch, but it wasn't quite as often.
Yeah, because she probably was like,
And
bitch, it
If I
wouldn't cover
understand some
for
of the
me,
other
and she's
testimony
talking
in the
to my
trial,
husband.
this was a time period when
But she probably floated something
Amy's
to
uncle
her
suffered
on a
brain
phone
bleed,
call,
Yes, he did.
and it came back
and
to
he
her.
was in very critical condition in the hospital, and then later transferred to a rehabilitation center in Des Moines called On With Life.
Yes.
Were you and Amy exchanging her concerns and her attention to that matter as that went on?
We did talk about her uncle, yes.
Do you know if that situation with her uncle led her to spend some time traveling back and forth to wherever he was being hospitalized?
I believe she stayed down there for several days with her uncle so her mom could have some relief from sitting with him. He was getting up and falling, so they needed a sitter with him to make sure he didn't get hurt.
During September and October, did you have much contact with Todd at all?
No.
Did you know enough about
Apparently not good
the
for
farm
us,
life that this was quickly moving into harvest season for him?
Yes.
Did Amy talk about that?
No.
While this thing with her uncle was going on, his health concerns, was Amy sharing anything with you about her either continued or discontinued relationship with Jared?
We did not talk about that relationship quite as much then. I was trying to let her work it out in her own mind, what she was going to do. I didn't know what she was thinking she was going to do or choose. I know she was very concerned about her children.
I'm not going to try to hunt for it right now, but I believe there was some message between you and her at some point where she talked about him being the super dad all of a sudden,
Yes.
and that there was some hope that, or comment by you perhaps, that maybe he could continue to be.
I did. Because she was trying to decide at that time if she would stay there because of the children or if she wanted to leave. And I said maybe Todd would, be the person she wanted or needed him to be.
You said that after the revelation of the first affair, that it seemed that or there were indications anyway that Todd was very controlling and suspicious or wanting to know where she was at and so forth.
Yes.
Was that continuing in last year, in July, August, September?
That continued the whole time after the affair. The first affair.
All the
You
way
can
from
probably
5
speed her
years
up a
ago
little
through.
bit more.
Yes.
Roger.
Did Amy ever say that she was limited in having money to buy things, shop?
Yes, she did.
Would you be surprised that she had an unlimited access to a Cabela's credit card?
I don't believe she went up to Cabela's very often.
Walmart?
I do believe that most of her and the children's clothing were Walmart and Goodwill
Did you ever go to Goodwill with her?
a couple times.
Do you know, at least from the spring of 2018 until the time of her death, you said that this controlling, knowing where she was at all the time, that continued?
That did continue.
Can you explain how she would manage to have arranged to have sex with Jerry at least 100 times, according to him?
Exactly.
I did ask Amy where they were meeting because I didn't know, and she said that things would take place at another hog facility that was being built near them or at their own facility. She did say that at one point someone came to the facility, the newly built one, when she was there with Jerry. So from what I understood from her, they weren't meeting in hotels or houses or anything. They were meeting on the farms near her home.
But according to Jerry, they were meeting at hotels sometimes.
I did not know that from Amy.
So she wasn't being scrutinized 24/7 by Todd, I mean.
I would imagine it would be very hard with how hard he works. Yes.
You mentioned that Amy had
Just
texted and talked to you directly about Todd contacting Jerry's wife.
Yes.
Do you know that he contacted Jerry also?
Yes.
Did Amy share with you what her understanding of Jerry's response to Todd's inquiry was?
She said that Jerry denied the relationship and that they were just friends.
Did she have a comment about if she knew how Jerry's wife had responded?
She said that Jerry's wife responded that she felt like their marriage was solid. After the first conversation with Todd, after the second conversation, Amy said that she thought Jerry's wife thought Todd was crazy and blocked him from Facebook.
I bet she doesn't think that now.
Do you know for sure if Todd ever was on Facebook?
I don't know what Todd looked at.
Okay.
You know damn well she knows.
I believe it was in mid-October.
Yes, you do.
That's when Amy was very upset about her, I'll call it a run-in with Todd's mother.
Correct.
Run in.
Did Amy tell you that it seemed like she appreciated that Todd had stuck up for her in that situation?
She did not feel that way as far as when she talked to me due to the text he had sent Tristan.
But Todd did not defend his mother the way she had treated her.
That I don't know.
He did, by the way.
So I guess just to summarize here.
Oh, stick up for her?
We had affair number one. He played an integral role in getting them into counseling.
Well, I figured he did
if
because the judge or
and then
this fool has asked that
near the
question
end of
on
August,
dang near every witness.
which you knew there was
except
another
for
affair
the
already occurring. It appeared that
doctor.
the cat might be out of the bag, that rumors were out there that she was having another affair.
Correct.
You talked to her. She says, I'm telling Todd, and she did.
She told him about the rumors.
Right. Okay. Right. I didn't want to misstate that. But Todd's reaction is, we've talked about it. Just nothing really happened after that, right?
I'm not sure of the timeline, but I believe that's maybe when he talked to Jerry or Jerry's wife again. I'm not sure. I think.
But your contacts with Amy kind of lessened. You'd still have lunch or talks or text messages and so forth.
I distanced myself a little bit because I didn't want to be put in that position.
Shut up, lady.
I didn't want. I wanted Amy to talk to Todd about what was going on, and I didn't want to have to be, or didn't feel like it was my place to be the one to tell Todd what was happening. But I felt like I was very uncomfortable.
God.
We're gonna get
Maybe
into it.
not
She's
lying to
almost
him,
over.
but that's why I always deflected his questions
Perjury.
because I didn't want to come out and Amy needed time to figure out what she was doing with her life.
Did Amy tell you that after the end of August, 1st of September, when this rumor issue arose, that this Jerry Frazier continued to be a farm management person for their hog operation?
Yes, he did.
So that business relationship between Jerry and the Mullis farm didn't change?
No, she was very concerned that his place of employment would find out and that he would be fired. So she was very concerned about that.
Well, it would be fair to assume, wouldn't it, that Todd didn't say, I don't want anything to do with you, or I'm suspicious of you, or I'm going to call your employer. None of that ever happened. I'll let her answer to her knowledge. Go ahead.
To my knowledge, he did not call Jerry's place of employment.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That's all the questions I have. Redirect.
The defense attorney just asked you about those conversations that you initially had with Todd about the rumors. Do you recall that? Yes. And that initially he said that they talked about the rumors, and then Todd said it seemed like today was a good day. Yes. And then I'm going to put up here on the screen from Group Exhibit 66. There was some additional text messages after that where you're again talking about those rumors. Yes. And in fact, at the top, Todd writes, she told me Spencer told you Doug said that. Yes. And that's referring to the people that told you about those rumors. Yes, correct. Todd then says, so are rumors bad? And you respond, yes, it doesn't really matter who said it. We're there out there. Yes. And then Todd responds, either weird or true, and everyone is lying to me. Yes. I have nothing further.
Mr. Firehelm, anything else for her? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well,
Why does that feel like that took like it was the longest testimony ever?
it was. I kept thinking to myself, I would look at the time and I'd be like, the counter has only moved like an eighth of a second. What is happening here?
Yeah, I felt like we had like a half hour left of that for like 3 hours.
Yes. Yes.
See, the defense attorney asks good questions. He just
Mhm.
isn't good as putting up any form of objection. He just lets the prosecution just do whatever the hell they want.
Correct. And that's annoying.
I will say this is the 5th time I've watched this, by the way. So I deserve the medal here.
You do. And let me just, you sure do. And let me say this. I'm proud of you for not just like saying, F this shit, I'm out, you know? Because I probably would have.
I was close to it.
I probably would have been like, listen, guess what, y'all? We ain't hearing from Tear Bear.
Everybody would have probably been like, that's okay. Okay, well, I guess the question to the chat is, did her testimony make him more guilty or less guilty in the jurors' eyes?
Ooh, good question. So how about put a 1 for less guilty and put a 2 for more guilty?
Or would it be totally irrelevant? Like number 3, like you didn't do anything either way.
Correct.
The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, this may change opinions. But by the 5th time, I was just like, oh, fuck Terry.
Fucking Tear Bear.
Well, it seems like what she
and
did.
She's lying. She wants to make herself look like a saint. And I want to see those deleted text messages. I hope if he gets a new trial. Well, it's probably all gone now.
No, they can subpoena.
Why isn't there a Celebrite dump on this stuff? Why are we looking at pictures of her phone?
Of her phone on a dadgum counter.
Yeah, that
not
would
even
be,
screenshots.
That would be my question to my defense attorney. I'd be like, why are you not getting all the messages? Because she says I got a new phone and I didn't know and accidentally deleted stuff. Shut up.
Well,
you don't accidentally delete stuff. There's like 3 steps to it.
Not only that, but if you do,
it's like, are you really sure you want to delete it?
And you can undo it too. If you accidentally on purpose delete something and you're like, oh crap, I might need that later, you can undo.
Yeah, and where the hell was Tear Bear on November 10th?
Yeah. Where were you, Terry? We want to know.
Oh, that's what she did. Where were you on November 10th?
Yes.
What were you doing the morning of November 10th?
I want to know what I'm with Allie 79 over here. I'm wondering how Tear Bear's faring in the town of Irville.
No way.
After this, after this whole court situation.
Oh, she probably was like, they wouldn't let me say what I wanted to say.
True.
I'm like, you said all of it in your text messages.
Right. Now, I will say this, Mo. I was thinking about this when you were talking about you wanted to see all the text messages. We don't know that that they didn't do that on the defense's side, and that when there was a pretrial hearing, and it was argued about what would be submitted as evidence, what would be allowed and what would not be allowed.
Sure.
It's possible those were not allowed, or they might have been allowed. But why would the prosecution show that? That would be for the defense.
I don't think so, because they would have had the download.
Right. But what I'm saying to you, babe, is that so in the beginning, before the trial begins, they discuss the evidence, and each side will argue it, right? So we're going to keep this. We'll let this come in. We object to that. And if the defense objects to it, they got to put in a request. They got to file. And then the judge will look, and then the prosecution will answer, and then the judge will look at both, and then he makes the final decision.
Yeah. So why would you think the defense even would have objected? Like, hey, objection. These, like, why don't we get an actual phone dump instead of?
I would have
pictures. Like, yeah. Like, or hey, I have her phone, dropped, and I have all the information off of it. Would that not be better evidence? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I would have, but it could be that the judge
said, you guys are going to be really upset at the end of this when the forensics are just crap. All of it. All around.
Oh no. Oh boy.
I feel like Todd got arrested and she was at home. It's like, oh, I got text messages, but let me delete all these parts of it, then I'll take pictures and be the star witness.
Probably.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. It's a lot of things are possible. I just don't understand. Now, I can understand in the investigative process that the the pictures of the phone with the text messages on them would suffice just for the initial investigation. But beyond that, I feel like there should have been a better system.
I
You need
agree.
to,
And she gave permission for them to.
yeah, but in order for them to do that, they have to get a subpoena. Her permission is not enough. They have to get it because they're going to go to her phone records.
Well,
They're
I
going to go to
sure
her
hope if he
company.
gets another trial, Terry gets back up there and gets torn to shreds.
Well, I'm sure that I don't know who's handling his appeal. I hope it's not the same attorney, but I promise you that the new attorney has watched all of this and now has new questions. I'm just curious, but I don't want anybody to tell me yet what he based his appeal on. I just want to know.
So at this point, everybody said a 1 that they all think this made him less guilty.
Mm-hmm. It almost seems, even if you were leaning towards guilt, it almost seems like Tear Bear moved people around, put people in places, got in their ear, set them up, and then stood back and said, now I wonder what will happen.
I distanced myself.
I did. She's
Right.
like Max von Patten from Needful Things.
She didn't distance herself from anyone. If anything, Amy distanced herself.
Good night, Amelia, the sweet. I feel like, well, she's trying to distance herself. She's trying to come across as a concerned friend who was worried about her girlfriend, Amy. And it seemed to her that Amy and her husband, Todd, were having a difficult time communicating. And she thought, hey, I know I put this on subscribers only. So I guess the bots have gotten smart and subbed. And here comes Tear Bear. I know what I'll do. I'll put myself directly in the middle and I'll be the mediator. And it didn't work. I mean, obviously, I am
the mediator's like, but I think you should go to the fair tonight, Todd.
Yes.
Right.
Right. I feel like you should lose your mediator badge for that.
And this is the second friend. Her other friend threw her under the bus too with Todd and married her dad.
Stepmama.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Eileen.
Amy, get some new friends.
The matriarch of the family. Like, Tear Bear, you're probably older than she is.
I just said this is just such an odd setup. Like,
I don't know what's going on in Iowa.
I'm telling you, this trial's gonna piss you off.
Oh, I'm sure it will. You know who else? Besides Jerry, I want to hear from Jerry's wife.
I don't know.
I'd like
I
to
don't
know.
think she comes up.
I know. I know. But I want to see where she was on November 10th.
I couldn't see it either, Shmita. I can only see it on StreamYard.
How are you going to... What? That is weird. How are you going to be a bot and then try to use the block button? The nerve. The audacity.
Well, that means nobody else can see it, so whatever. That's not stupid.
That's not the point. I don't care for
What's
it to
the
be
purpose
here.
Is what I don't understand.
I don't even know
I
what
don't
you're supposed
either.
to do with those.
I
don't want to like...
It says ver, FYI. Ver. FYI.
Oh, what is they didn't block Missy.
Well, let me see if they blocked me.
Because I went to try to block it, and I thought maybe one of y'all had.
It has me blocked too. I can't see it.
The detectives are 3 hours long, so I'm going to break it up just in case. But tomorrow is the pathologist, two of her friends, and Jerry.
Oh.
Wait, how long is the pathologist one?
She's 45 minutes, but like the first 10 minutes is her saying her credentials.
We can
Or
fast
we
forward
can
that
skip.
shit.
Yeah, we can skip
And
that.
then
You've
Jerry's
been,
only 21 minutes.
Yeah,
What?
Jerry's been on long. I'm
Well,
telling
actually,
you,
no,
Jen.
I take that back. The pathologist is less time than that because 2 of her friends come on after the pathologist. So
oh,
she's probably only like 15, 20 minutes. She's
Wow.
not long.
well,
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if she gets cross-examined, but
that's
we'll
what.
find out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
wondering.
don't think she does.
Because
And the pictures, Jen, is basically the same ones that the doctor showed.
oh, okay,
They have other pictures, but they don't show them on the screen.
okay. So my 15 minutes with wow. I mean, not that. I mean,
Well,
I
it's
don't.
probably 20 minutes, but
Yeah, but that's still an incredibly short amount of time for her to be able to go over the wounds, because I understand that, okay, on the surface, 6 wounds, that's not a very large number. I think we're going to do it. What's good for you, Teresa?
I'm good whenever.
Okay. So maybe we'll do it a little 8:30 work for everybody?
yep.
Okay. We're going to okay, now I got it back. So 6 I can't even talk. I sound like the guy from It's a Great Outdoors. So 66 times in the head. Yeah, got struck by lightning. 6 wounds isn't that many, but I expect that they're going to go. She would go into more detail, or should go into detail about the injury to the chin and the bruises. Now, I will say this: I don't know who put that IV in Amy, and it's hard to tell from that picture if she has good veins or not, but that's bad.
I agree. I guess
was
that's because they're
awful.
nurses, so they shared it. But that shows she bruises easily.
Well, no.
I don't think she talks about the chin, but I wasn't really watching when I was recording. But
So
I was
that
looking for pictures to tell you.
first of all, I don't understand why the IV would be placed in the crook of her arm like that. Normally, they place your IV in your hand, on the top of your hand. So, but I don't think that bruising doesn't show that she's easy to bruise. What that shows is she probably has bad veins and she's a hard stick. So, I don't think I think if she bruised easy, I think we would have seen more bruising on her. Just in different stages, you know?
Yeah. And that was, what, 3 days before she
Mhm.
died?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 days. They would have seen, rolling veins, Heather, whatever. I think, because I did see some of the pictures, and what I noticed is, for the most part, the majority of the bruises that they showed are new. They haven't changed color at all. They're still that deep purple that they start
Right.
out with, and there's, like, no yellow bruises. So, or green. So I'm thinking that it's probably not. I don't think she bruises easily. I think she just has rolling veins, or somebody's not good at setting an IV, or a combination of both. I don't know. But I'm
Well,
telling
I
you
think
right
it
now,
was not good, and that's why they were laughing about it.
yeah. And I'll tell you right now, Terry, don't
Which
call
Terry
me.
probably told everybody in the whole hospital about it.
Well, of course she did. And she probably sent the picture around. So whoever did set that IV knows that not only that Amy was unsatisfied, and that Terry and her had a conversation about it where they made fun of it.
Well, she definitely knows now. Because everybody in that town was watching this trial.
Mm-hmm. Man. Well, like I said, Terry, don't call me.
Terry's probably mad that she didn't know they were having sex in hotels.
I want to know what she
didn't
wanted
tell
to
me that.
clarify.
Probably to try to make herself look better.
You know what she reminded me of? remember back in the, not that far back, but like screenshot wars. And then you and then you get somebody who's trying to explain the screenshot, and trying to convince you that the screenshot doesn't read what you're actually reading on the screen. That's what it felt like with her.
I do not understand why they did it that way. I would have objected all over that. It was like, that. Can she just read it? Because her paraphrasing, that's like trying to read tone from a text message.
Yeah, but at the same time, think about it this way. When the jury goes back to deliberate, they're likely not going to remember what she said, what her testimony was specifically relative to the text, but they do get to take those texts back there. So it actually might be more advantageous for them not to read it. Plus, when they read it out loud in court like that, the court reporter has to type it all. It's a lot of work.
Well, some of her explanations were longer than the text.
Yes, I know, but I don't know. I think they refrained from reading them verbatim because of time. I have no idea.
I wish she would have had to read that one that she wrote about that lady.
No, Allie, this used to happen in, well, it still does, but Facebook groups.
There was a show.
It could be a show.
Yeah, it could have been a show.
But actually,
it happens in YouTube too.
Actually, though, if you think about it,
Watch those side chats, people.
They're allowed to get the testimony, the transcription of it. They're allowed to get a copy of that in the jury room. And it would be interesting to see. I like to see their notes where they compared what she said the text messages read versus what the text messages actually read. I'd just be curious about that.
I'd say they're probably in the jury room like, let's not even discuss Terry. She's a hoe.
I bet they kept Terry in the back of their mind. And after they were allowed to talk about this case, they were like, if you're friends with Terry, are y'all friends with Terry? Let me tell you, I saw she's talking about you.
I would think it would be so hard to be the defendant, because I would have to be like, objection.
I think it is hard to sit there when somebody is talking,
lying and bashing you.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think it would be incredibly hard for anybody to be able to, sit still and sit through that. But
I can imagine you on trial, Jen. You would have done pushed that lawyer over. And
I
like,
wouldn't.
Objection.
I wouldn't be on trial because my ass wouldn't be getting caught.
Okay, so who do we have left? We have the main detective.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3 hours long, by the way.
His is right. The main detective.
There's 2 of them.
Okay, and they're 3 hours each.
No, it's 3 hours for both of them. Like
3 hours for both. Okay.
Yeah,
and
they played it on the same one. The pathologist, and I think there's 4 friends. Jerry, and I think his dad, maybe.
It's his dad or his brother. One of his family members.
Oh, maybe it's his brother. Yeah. And then he comes on, and then they rest, and then he's the only one.
He's the only witness for the defense.
I can't remember if the defense calls his brother or if he does, or if the prosecution does.
Oh.
It might be a character witness for the defense. If it is, they're like super short. But I just don't remember. Todd is like the last one to testify.
Right.
And I think this is like 3 hours. No, 2 hours, 3 hours.
I don't know, but I'm not gonna be able to be online for it. I'm so mad.
Why?
Have to work. I go back to work Monday.
Well, that's just stupid. You're sick. Can't they tell by your accent?
She doesn't know how paranoid I am about my voice.
Oh my God, I love your voice. So I just had to have fun.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I might. Anyway,
I might have to call in for his testimony though, because I really want to be here for
We may
the
have to just do it
911
like
call.
super early.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll make sure you're here for it, Mo.
I'll call in. I ain't that worried about it.
Oh.
But
I
know
have to
you
be
don't
here
have,
for
like, the
his.
short little ones, and then I knew the detective was long, and I know that he's long. But other than that,
Y'all don't let that sweet Southern voice fool you. Mo's a thug.
Mo's a thug.
She is. All right. Well, thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Shamita.
Thank you for hosting us
Anytime.
on your birthday, even.
I can't think of anybody else that I'd rather spend my birthday with than you guys, really. We have the best conversations between the panel and the chat. This was a ton of fun.
And Tear Bear. I mean, come on. Tear Bear
Yeah.
completed the whole thing.
I'm going to have to remember that GIF that I sent you all those times ago, Teresa, with the Care Bear.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the Care Bear stare.
Yes.
You'll have to go
Oh.
back and watch your video, Jen.
I am. I want to, I might download it.
I was going to say, isn't Shamita just going to upload it all on its own?
Where are you? I would love for you to upload it. It was so sweet that I want it. Please.
She's like all taken back. She's like, I don't even know if I got all of it because I was like, what the hell's happening?
Oh, well, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the video. Thank you for the wonderful birthday wishes, the super chats, all of it. I'm overwhelmed and so grateful that I have people that come in and hang out with me and listen to me make jokes and talk nonsense and are so engaging. I'm just really lucky. I'm really lucky.
It's because we know you're not a friend like Terry.
I would never. I would never.
You would only had Alice in the video.
Not even Alice. Alice don't roll with snitches.
Well, I made the voice for Alice, and I would have had a few choice words.
I bet you would have. I bet you would have been like, Mom, you're a snitch.
Tony said, Momo, you didn't choose the thug life. The thug life chose you. All right, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Good night,
right, night,
everybody.
Night.
See y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you guys again. This was the best birthday ever.